All right. Hello, hello, everyone. Welcome to stream. Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready for jump scare? Are we ready for jump scare? Are we ready for a jump scare? Are we ready for a jump scare? Okay, are we ready for a jump scare? Are you ready? Are you ready? Are you ready? Okay, 3, 2, 1. How's it going, chat? Hello, everybody. How are we doing? What's the energy? What's the vibe? How have we been this week? How have we been since I last spoke to you, which was like a couple days ago? You know? The plushy corner is immaculate? That's my bed. Ew! Yeah, where's the cart? Ew! Where's the 𝘫𝘰𝘪𝘯? Ew! Where did she go? So many plushies, and that's not even all of them, because there are some that are under my sheets. So those are just the ones that get to be on camera. Of course. So I'm gonna bet, dude, it rules. It genuinely rules. Rotoscoping is crazy. Imagine having like a live rotoscope. That's my bed where celebrating my birthday a few days early due to circumstances, decided the theme should be art. The big TV is streaming this stream, so it might not be too active in chat. No, that's fine. So the council is actually kind of being covered up right now. The council is behind Haku and Button and Orion and Kai. They're kind of all covering up the council, but like that's okay. I've got, yeah, the council is Kirby's, for those who don't know. The council behind those plushes, like the two cows behind Yakult and Go-Gurt and Button. Hang on, I need to Button and, oh my god, it's so hard to track my own finger, and Orion, and then there's one more in the back there that's Kai over there, and then Haku is the big kind of long guy back there. Do I actually sleep in that? Yes. So what happens is, it's like, so there are a bunch of really big plushies there that don't fit on my bed, so I put them on the ground when I go to sleep. But during the day, my bed is a day bed. It's a day bed from IKEA. So like, and I've had it since I was a child. So like during the day, it's just kind of like a sitting, lounging area. But to actually sleep, I put the biggest plushies on the ground. Pond, my frog here, he's my pillow normally as well. You have a member of the council terminal montage, Gerbo. Oh, you have the terminal montage, Gerbo? That's incredible. That terminal montage curb is one of my favorite emotes in Discord. You have the same sleeping curb. I've got two of them. I've got two of them because one of them was given to me by my fiance, and then a friend of mine didn't know that I already owned it, so now I have two. Pond? Yeah, here, I'll show you Pond. Anybody want to see any specific plushies before we get started? You could also see this top that I'm wearing, which is like incredible. My fiance got it for me. If anybody wants to see any specific plushies, because there are more over here. Yeah. But this is Pond, who acts as my pillow a lot of the time, gifted to me for Christmas last year by the lovely Pulse Effects. But this is Pond. Pond is amazing and incredible and everything. Ugh. Put him back there. I love plushies. I'm more of a blanket guy. I've also got like, oh no, 1, 2, 3, 5 different blankets on my bed right now. Yeah, who's this? Who am I? Where is the 𝘫𝘰𝘪𝘯? Where's the... Yeah. I've got 5 different blankets. So that right there is a blanket. And then this one I stitched myself. And then underneath it is a weighted blanket. And then I've got 2 more IKEA blankets that you can't see off to the side. It's too hot for so many blankets. I don't use all of them. Your bed is what I want mine to be when I get my money. I cannot be trusted with a credit card. You must understand that this collection has been built over the course of my entire life. This is not like something I was like, oh, I'm an adult, I'm gonna get all of these now. No, no, no. Some of these plushies I have had for many, 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 many years. You know? This is human. Yeah, what the fuck? You're telling me you are an anime creature? I know, I'm sorry to disappoint. I'm literally sorry to disappoint. That's not... Yeah, respect, thank you. But yes. It's a vision of my future with my wife. Yeah, same with my fiance and mine too, right? Love my hair. Thank you. It goes down to my butt. You can see how actually long my hair is. Just like, it's so like, I literally, you know, like I've got a lot of hair. My hair is my favorite part about me, frankly. I have a mix of my mother and my father's hair, which means that it is incredibly soft and smooth, like almost never gets tangled, and it's also very resilient, so it like can take a lot of damage, and it's perfectly fine. You know? Yeah, I've got that like Chinese Filipino, that's pin straight Asian hair, you know? Show off, yeah, I know. It's the one thing about me that I will actively show off. I'm like, yeah, my hair. My hair is the best part about me. Yeah. Magic hair with sketch. Here's the thing too, right? Is it's like we did, this was by accident. We ended up having kind of similar, like one day during university I wanted to dye my hair like this, like before we started dating. So like we've just had, cause he's had it before me, and then I was like, I want dyed hair that's easier to maintain, because when I was like a teenager I had like my ends dyed, and then in the middle of college I got peekaboo dye, so like I did like the undercut kind of like dye, and it was so much maintenance. So I was like, I want something, I don't want to stop dyeing my hair, but I want to like not have to spend like 8 hours in the bathroom, you know what I mean? So, you know. How many years does it take to dry? Actually, it takes, like, if I just sit in my chair for 20 minutes, it's usually mostly dry by the time it's done. Like, I've got a ton of hair, but it's perfectly straight. Like, I wake up and my hair looks like this. Like, I don't need to do anything to it. The only thing that I did to it recently was I took a shower. So, like, genuinely. Hi, Kevin. Yeah, peak hair genetics. I genuinely have peak hair genetics. Like, it's the one thing about me where I'm like, no, this is like the most perfect part about me. It's my hair, you know? Too straight for fluffy hair, too curly for straight hair. Maybe you just have to do a different, like, hair routine. Ah, there's my fiance. Hello. Hello, my love. Scarecrow sketch and chat, my fiance. Jealous, my hair takes hours to dry? No, my hair dries so fast. And then if I take a blow dryer to it, it's like 5 minutes. Maybe max. Yeah, Joe in chat! Joe's in chat, oh my god. Turns out Crow's never seen her face before. That would be crazy, wouldn't it? Or fiancés need never seen my face before. That would be nuts. But no, that's not the case. My hair's not growing fast enough. This hair I have been growing. I don't think I've gotten a proper haircut since I was like. I don't think I've gotten a haircut like properly since 2019, maybe. Like I haven't been to a salon in years. Like it's genuinely years. And, like, I cut my hair short once when I was in 4th grade, and then I was like, you know what, never mind. I think I like long hair. Hello. Girl felt up at me and YouTuber, that's so funny. Jesse and Crow has never seen each other's faces until today. Man. What about an improper haircut? Never had one of those either. Alright, friends. Today, I have owed you all a critique stream for a little bit. I've owed you all a crit stream where I'll be going over your artwork. And, like, we'll be doing some critiquing live with my camera on. Because that's something that a lot of people want, apparently. So, a lot of people want to see what my face looks like because I just don't show it. And like here's the thing is like I grew up with a photographer for a father, so I don't mind showing my face off. I really don't care. It's just it takes so long to get ready and I'm lazy. So I'm like, I'll do the PNG tuber so I can just stream, like not have like any makeup on or like just like sit around. I can stay wearing my pajamas, you know. I can't do that if my camera's on, right? And then I gotta set up lighting, and I gotta make sure the things look okay, and whatever, right? So, I'm lazy, so I just don't have my camera on, so I'm like, here you go. Right? There you go. We can see her disgust live now, wow. Oh my god. But yeah, so I'm like, this is like my going out attire, right? I'm like, I wear stuff like this daily if I am going out places, but it's like, it just you draw? I know, it's pretty crazy, right? Hi Oz. But yeah, it is like, so normally I just don't have my camera on, but like I don't really mind showing my face off. Like it doesn't really bother me that much. The room becomes more maximalist every time I see it. Oh yeah. But alright, let's get started then. This time around, we're not gonna have like, cause like before it was very like, if you know me from the other place, it was very structured. It's like, oh, we're gonna do this many and each person's gonna get this amount of time. And not this time. What we're doing is it's just, I'm gonna critique whoever I feel like, which means that it'll just be as many people as I can get through. For as long as I feel like each person needs as well. Some people might need more, some people might need less. And there's really no set schedule this time. I'm just gonna go through the entire list. If I end up not making it to you, then like, right? And it'll be treated like first come, first serve. So whoever submitted earlier, you have a higher chance of getting your stuff critiqued. So, yeah, submit sooner next time. Yeah, pretty much. I can never do a cam thing. Room's too messy for that, and I look like a crinkled tissue 97% of the time. My room is also pretty messy a lot of the times. Like, you still have my pile of like fabric here. It's like a lot of this is scrap fabric. Like, it is like, or clothes that my parents wanted to get rid of, or like things that I need to print on that like people, like my family was asking me to print on. So it's like some of them, like there's a big pile of jeans down there that I want to cut up and turn into patches and like print on them and stuff like that. So I'm like, that's still there. And then there's like my tattoo equipment here, like my extra tattoo equipment storage. And like luckily my head is covering the worst of the mess that's on my ground and my second desk. So, you know. But alright. Let's get into it then, you know. Because I'm just like, I'm feeling lazy today. Tattoo equipment tour when? I mean, it's not that interesting. Like, it's just like, it's like, oh, here's the needles that I use. Here's the ink. Here's the machine. Here's safety equipment. Here's safety equipment. Here's safety equipment. Here's safety equipment. Like, it's genuinely just like, you know what I mean? Like, it's just like, apparently Teto translates to here, according to YouTube auto-translate. That's cool and awesome. Don't know why it does that, but there it is. This one was submitted by 𝘧𝘰𝘪𝘯, as you all know him, but it also in parentheses here says Jay. I don't give a shit, because Jay is kind of what I call him. You can find him on Twitter as... Hang on, I can write it down. You can find him on Twitter as 𝘧𝘰𝘪𝘯_ on Twitter, and then on Blue Sky as 𝘧𝘰𝘪𝘯_social. Epic. Boo-like, thank you for the $10 super chat. No problem at all. No, even if you're not gonna be here, I gotta go through you. You're here sooner. Who is that artist in chat? Everybody say hi to Jay. 𝘧𝘰𝘪𝘯0940. I've never actively said the full numbers in there. Why did I not get a notification? Oh, I don't have my... I didn't set up my freaking... Hang on. Hold the phone. I forgot to set up my... Hold on. Oh! I forgot to set up my
@boot_legged_human donated $10 through Super Chat. Can't stay, so feel free to skip me if it helps get through your backlog.
Thank you. I just need to get my alerts there real quick, because I realized I forgot to put them on my screen. Let's move these up here. Marvelous, because I don't want to forget my alerts. Alright, excellent. Ugh. Okay. But yes, let's jump into it. I haven't... Oh my god, I did it on the same layer. Hang on. Hold on. There we go. That was scary! I hate it when it's all on the same layer. Okay. Da da da! I haven't created something properly in so long. Let's take a look here really quickly. The lighting is really good. I've already seen this one too. So I'm like, I don't really have anything, in terms of the lighting, I don't really have anything to say about that. The thing you probably could have done to make it like more dramatic, because the eyes are very similar in tone here. I'm like, you could have made the shadow more dramatic here. Like if you really wanted to, like you could have like right here especially, because it's like you have this, like this across the face is like the shadow here is so dramatic, but then it's like not dramatic on the eye at all. It's like if you just darken this right here, yeah, because then like that makes this eye like pop out way more, right? It's like you could probably even darken that even more, like if you just wanted to like, yeah, there we go. If you really wanted to like, yeah, because then it's like this then now feels like it's more in shadow side, but the teeth here, like it's like you're kind of being selective with where you wanted the darkness to actually be like the shadow, but like if you're gonna have it so dramatic on one side, you're gonna want it dramatic on all of them, right? So it's like if you have that, like, because you have it here in the hair as well, so yeah, you could probably have it super dramatic in that way as well, and it's like let more of this like fall into shadow, right? I'm like, everything in this, like what I can say about this one is just so nitpicky. You know what I mean? Yeah, it makes a shadow in the face look more like a shadow, I agree. Yeah. I'm again super nitpicky. It's like the folds here are very even. Like you could also probably kind of brush this. This is something a little textured. Yeah, like if you wanted to like, so just make them a little less even to one another, just so they're not super, because we don't really want our folds to be too close together, right? So we don't want them to be too similar to one another, or else they kind of feel too uniform. And they're a little, yeah, they're a little like similar in distance to one another, so we can also probably move this closer. Like they'll get farther apart the like less impacted the fabric is by the folds, so it's like these two might be really close to each other, but then it's like that little one might be kind of far, right, as like the fabric becomes less impacted. You can even combine them a little bit if you wanted, so then it's more of like a, again, like a pipe fold that kind of happens there, right? You kind of feel that difference. It's subtle, but it is like a, it's like it helps bring the variety back in. Oh. Kevin, wrong chat. Where were these submitted? They were submitted a few weeks ago. Or not weeks, few days ago. The deadline was a couple days ago. Depending on how fast we get through some people, I might just open it again if anybody wants some stuff critiqued, and I'll just be like, yeah, sure, let's do it. But yeah, it depends on how long each person kind of takes to do, but it shouldn't be too crazy. And then one final thing, which is like, this is a little crazy. It's a little nuts. How many submissions? There were like 30, I think. It's like 20 to 30, something like that. I don't remember the exact number. Hang on, let's check. What's the exact number here? 32. I got 32 different submissions. Oh, well, there was a couple of tests, so 30 then. Yeah, because we did a couple of test submissions. Yes, I do only critique 2D because I do not know how to critique 3D. Yeah, tiny thing here. Like, frankly, because of how bright this is and, like, how intense this is, just make this pure white right here. It's like you could have, like completely foregone the palm of the hand here, because then it's like you have, like, this really bright... Like, you were almost there, but it's like you could even get more intense with it. Like that, frankly, like that palm right there, and then it's like that really helps give like the spotlight sort of feeling there. And again, it's super subtle, but it's like it gives it, here, you feel that difference, right? It, like, again, it makes the light feel really strong in that one section there. Hang on. Let's do this quickly. Is this something that's kind of Only slightly. Hang on. It's like there's something here that's like... No, because that also doesn't feel quite right. But it does sort of feel like this side of the head is a little small here. And I think it's just because, like, the way that the face is drawn, like, the way the eyes are drawn on is very, like... Yeah, because you're missing a bit of the skull right here. The way that the face is drawn is a little more 3/4-y. But then it's like the eyes are very head-on. Yeah, there it is. You can kind of see it. There's a little bit of the skull missing right there. Right? With just the way that the face is shaped. It's very, very subtle. It's very small. But it's like, especially with like the curve of the head there. It's like now with that little extra bit, like we've got more of a curve of the face here. It's really, really subtle and small, but it's like this kind of brings the cranium, especially right here, it's like this brings the cranium back a little bit right here, so it comes back down in, because it was like before it was like a little more like this, and like that felt a little concave, so it's like this kind of brings it back a little bit more, right? It's like before, it's like if you had, like, this is how the skull, I would suggest, should go, and it's like the hair goes right up against it. So it's like before, like, it kind of does this, which feels a little bit thin. You know what I mean? Just very, very, very subtle changes. Super, super subtle. But yeah, this one's really good. I don't really have much to say about it. There you go. Everybody say thank you to Jay. Oh my god, I almost forgot my camera was on for a second. Everybody say thank you to Jay. Thank you to 𝘧𝘰𝘭𝑭𝘰𝘳𝑰 for submitting. Appreciate you letting us take a look at your artwork. And that's what I mean, right? I'm like, I'll do this subtle, like, kind of like crits and like do some small little changes. And then I'm like, all right, next person. Like, if I feel like you need more, then I'll give you more. And if not, then we'll do less. Good job, Jay. Let's download this next one. Who are you? Kit. Did I download any of these beforehand? Only the first one. Ugh. Okay. Next one that we've got lined up on here. This one is by Kit. They use any pronouns. On Instagram, they go by, oh, there's a, what do you call it? Yeah, there's a handle right here. That's this on Instagram. Oh yeah. Kit's art on Instagram, if you want to check them out. They were saying the scars are wing scars. The character's fallen angel got his wings torn out and left sort of craters where some muscles torn out as well. I feel like I'm struggling really hard with the back anatomy and the scars themselves. Well, back anatomy is tough in itself, right? Because back anatomy is like, so, oh, how do I, yeah. Back anatomy is tough in itself, right? Because there's a lot of like weird muscles when it comes to the back, right? So if I'm gonna just really quickly do like a friggin', I gotta figure my drawing it before where I was listening. Yeah, and then there's always a VOD. If you miss anything, there's always a VOD. So feel free to go back and look at the VOD. What was I gonna say? Yeah, so we can do I can do a really quick, like, back muscle chart thing. The stuff that's important, right? Because there's some stuff back there where it's like, well, there's this muscle underneath this one. There's, like, a deep muscle underneath the superficial. We're gonna go with the superficial muscles. We're not gonna do any of the deep stuff right now. That's a lot of work and a lot of energy that I don't want to put into it. So if we are thinking of the back itself, right, we've got a few muscles that go on back here, and depending on how thin or how fat or how muscly this person is, some of them might be visible, some of them might be less visible, you know, that kind of magic. So, oh, still had the soft brush. All right, so if you're skinny, the thing that you're gonna see the most are the scapula. That's our shoulder blades, and those are kind of like here. So you'll see there's like this kind of cut in the back here. That's like your scapula, it's your shoulder muscles, or your shoulder blades. So you might see those. There is right here, so the deltoid, the shoulder muscle, actually wraps on the front and on the back of us. So you'll have a little bit of the deltoid coming in here from the shoulder. So you'll sort of have this magic happening here. It's not exactly like this, but it's close enough. And then on the back of the neck here, there's going to be this kind of diamond-y shape as this muscle comes down and looks sort of like this. Sort of has a crease in the center. This is our trapezius. Our trapezius is right here, so it's this funny little kind of goes all the way up the neck like this, and it also comes and it like hugs the top of our shoulders. So this muscle between the deltoid right here and then this muscle right here, this is the trapezius, kind of coming around from the back and like almost doing this to our shoulders. You know, so we've got this kind of muscle going on here, cuts in with the deltoid there and does this. And then we have, there's like just, it's like we have our arm muscle here, and there's like a few other like smaller muscles that are right here as well. They're like a cluster that I don't know too well. But then right here, there's just like a big wad of muscle that goes down before we reach the gluteus minimus maximus, like our butt, right? But this sort of like muscle right here, it wraps from our back and comes around all the way up to the all the way up to the front, like, you know, where our abdomen muscles are, our abs. It wraps all the way from the back, comes all the way to the front, and those are our lats, our latissimus dorsi. Like a big wraparound, like the towel in the back. So it looks something like this, but then like if you were to actually draw it out, it's like, it depends on how muscular and how non-muscular the person is. But let's say that they're a little more of a fit build. It's sort of like this part is always there. Let's pretend like the arms are kind of like cut off here. And of course it like differs from person to person, obviously, right? But it usually looks something kind of like this. Or it's like, depending on how muscly they are, it's like or how non-muscly they are, the shoulder blades might be more visible, might be less visible, might be blah 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 blah, right? So there's a lot of like different factors, but you can kind of think of it as almost like this. Not exactly, but it's almost like this, right? So we're missing a little bit of that structure. Let's move this guy over here so you can sort of have that kind of comparison going on there. And then of course, if you don't know, you look it up. You know what I mean? I love to do that. I love looking up what the back looks like, because I also fuck up the back a lot. So it's, you know, it helps to look it up. You know what I mean? But so we're missing a little bit of that structure as we go in here, right? And a really big thing that's happening here that I'm noticing is like all of this like dark kind of like rendering like this. Like, I know that they said that there's like chunks that were taken out, but the chunk bits that look like they were taken out are like here, right? What this tells me, like the way that the shadows are done here. So a big thing with shadow is that shadow, chiaroscuro, like all of that fun jazz, what it does is it implies form, right? It implies form, it implies form, it implies like different like structure, right? You can't just add shadow and be like, okay, it's like I'm adding shadow for no reason. Because what that is doing is it is telling me what is there. It is telling me the 3D-ness of the object that it's supposed to be telling me, right? So what this is telling me right now is that there is like almost like a cut right here, and then it goes back up like this. So it almost does this, and then it goes back up like this and back down like this. Like, you can kind of see it as I add the lines in, right? Is it almost has this, like, it's like it almost dips in there, right? And I don't know if that's the intention, right? It's the same deal here, right? It sort of looks like this is happening, right? It kind of looks like there is, like, different forms that maybe weren't completely intentional because of just the way that it's shaded, right? It's like, it's that sort of, it's the same thing here, right? It kind of, like, this shadow here kind of feels like it's implying all this. This sort of feels like it's implying this. Comes back down on this side, right? It feels like there's, like, a lot of, like, texture, and this one here too, right? It's like this is feels very, very intense right there, right? There's a lot of, like form and a lot of stuff that is being implied that I don't think they wanted to imply, right? Then again, the artist is not here, I don't believe, so we can't know for sure. But the thing with back muscles specifically is that they're usually a lot more subtle than this. What I can do to help, so scars as well, like, the older that they are, it's like they'll kind of fade back into the skin tone. Like, if they are meant to be, like, very, very old, like, if they are meant to be very old, they wouldn't be quite this light, they wouldn't be quite this fleshy, you know? Like, it might be a little bit older. It might be a little bit closer to the original skin tone, you know. It depends, though. This is one of those ones that's, like, a little bit tough. You might have to, like... Yeah, the scars from their wings being removed. And it's also tough because, again, it's like, that's not a thing that really happens to a person. You know, as a species that doesn't really have wings, you know? It's not really something that you can look up for realistic reference, right? So you kind of have to be careful. The way that this is drawn here, too, this kind of, like, I understand that it's meant to be, like, the pants here, but the way that this shadow is done here, this feels kind of like an inner tube, right? Because pants would be, this would be mostly flush to the body, so it'd be more like this shadow. This shadow should follow, it shouldn't be, like, an extra. Let's actually make this a minute layer here. This shadow should, like, follow the rest of the body here, too. Right? Do you see how that immediately makes it feel like it's connected to the body again? Right? Because, like, the second, again, it's like the second you add more light, the second you add more shadow, it's you're disconnecting it, you're creating a new form, right? And the way that this kind of, like, smoothly slots in here, it's like it doesn't feel like an arm going onto a leg, right? Realistically, this should be, like, on top here. And then it's like... because this doesn't quite feel like an arm, right? Realistically, we shouldn't be seeing this much of the legs either. Yeah, realistically, yeah, we shouldn't be seeing this much of the legs either anyway. Unless, because that's one fat thigh if we're talking about that. Which, like, you know what? That I have nothing against that. You know what I mean? Like, maybe, you know what? All the more power to you. All right, look at cricket, right? I'm not. That's not something I'm against. That's what I'm saying. But, like, you know what I mean? No, it doesn't quite feel like this is, like, another leg here. Right? So let's kind of, like, fix that just a smidge. Right? You kind of feel how that, like, you feel that difference immediately. Right? It's like that kind of feels... like, it feels now it's, like, more part of the body than before. Right? It's not perfect, but, like, you kind of see what I'm trying to do there. But yeah, let's kind of work with this guy some more then. So, like, if we were to kind of go off, I'm just gonna, like, clean slate this bad boy. The back muscles, the thing with the back muscle as well is the back muscle is actually very subtle a lot of the times. Like, you don't actually need to add that much shadow. That's a big thing. When people are not the best at rendering, or, like, when they're newer to rendering something, they tend to over-render certain parts. And it isn't necessarily about the quality of the rendering itself, it's just how much they choose to render, right? There's a big reason why it's, like, contrast is really important, but also knowing how to use little contrast, because if you add too much contrast to something, you're going to be adding forms that don't need to be there, right? It's exactly like before. So, like, if we're to, like, kind of do this one again. Let's And a little bit of darkness on the sides here, so it implies that there is like a curve around, right? If you keep it too flat on one side, that it's gonna not feel like there's any more form around the side. It's like we need to think of it as almost like cylindrical in a way. Right, so we don't want it to feel too intensely like one way or the other, right? And then we think about our muscle here, right? This character seems a little bit thinner, so we probably don't want the shoulder deltoid to be too obvious. So what we want instead is probably just this general crease down the center here. Keep it thin, keep it subtle. Right? Because a lot of contrast can harm something just as much as very little can, right? It's all about control. Right? Because you see how now that kind of crease down the back feels subtle by comparison to this one, right? It's like this now feels like a much more subtle sort of like dip in the back here by comparison to this one, right? So it's like now we have a little bit of this here. It's like we might have a little bit of the shoulder blade going on here. Just a little. The less sharp edges that we have, the more subtle the crease feels, more subtle the form feels, right? So it's like the more that you sharpen out the edges of something like this, the more like in your face and the more like three-dimensional it feels. So it's like the softer that that form is, the more like a subtle sort of like form shift it feels. Right, so again, you feel the difference between this versus this, right? It's like this feels a lot more subtle. Like you can tell that there are like changes, changes in the form, there are changes in like the actual like shape of the back, but it isn't quite so like concave, right? It isn't like they're huge like that. But they said they wanted bigger chunks taken out, so let's do that too, right? So it's like we have like the wing sections here, like the way that it is done like this kind of like that taken out in that way doesn't feel like it makes a lot of sense to me. If we, how do we logic this out? Okay, let me Google something really quickly, because what a bird wing is and how it attaches, it's just an arm. Right, like how a bird wing attaches to the body is like bird wings. Like the way that the bird, yeah, because the way that the bird wing is attached is it's sort of like at a shoulder point, right? Like all that feather, every feather of a bird wing is superficial. Think of it as like hair. Right? Bird feathers are not actually part of the bone structure. It's more like just kind of there. Right? And yes, there's muscle and stuff, but it's like a big reason why wings are so tricky is because it's like very similar to arms. Like if we're to pull out the muscle too, wings, like to the front along the ribs, it's along the sternum. So if here, let me show you. So if we see this kind of, but wow, this image is, well, you couldn't hold still. This image right here, right? If we took like this bone, right, it's like, if you see right here, this is a bird's sternum, right? A bird's sternum is so large because the muscle that connects to this wing right here, this arm, it has to be so big because of how like the movement is like this, right? They're like flapping constantly, so that muscle, their pectoral muscles have to be really, really freaking big, right? So they're gonna have to literally be like huge like this, right? And the same thing in the back. It's like the trapezius muscle back here is also quite large, along with the latissimus, right? Like those are gotta be really big, right? So it's like that attachment is kind of tricky because we have like, yeah, you got like deltoid and stuff, but that's like arm only, so it's like that doesn't really matter. because of how the pecs slot into there. I'm just trying to think of like how. Bird. I'm trying to like, hang on, let's take a look for a second. Bird muscle. Yeah. That's what I thought. So, if you want to know something interesting, as I'm like looking at more birds now, I'm like, because in my head, I'm like, I was thinking about the scars and I was looking at them and I'm like, in my head, I'm like, the way that I logicked out immediately is I'm like, these scars should not be this big. The scars should really only be like that. Because again, it's like wings, the feathers are superficial. Yes, the feathers go all the way down there, but the muscle connection is really only like here. Right? If we're talking about it like it's on the shoulder blade, like that's kind of how it is. I'm like, I needed to double check. I'm like, it isn't totally like that, is it? Yes, it is. So it's like, if you see that connection point, right? It's like the way that like, yeah, it's like you have the biceps and the triceps and that kind of thing. They slot into this pectoral muscle area here, right? So it's just like a small, this small little like entry point here. It actually doesn't go down the rest of the body at all. So it actually, like, yeah, it's like if it's being ripped out of the body, sure, it's gonna be quite like gross, but it won't actually be that big if we're really thinking about it, right? So let's, yeah, so it should really only be like, you know, like it should really only be like here-ish, right? And we've only got like that kind of like, yeah. Should really only be like here. And I'm like, I'm looking at deep scarring right now. It's like, yeah, because deep scarring over time, it's like, yeah, it leaves chunks of your flesh gone, but like it doesn't retain that really light color for a super long time. It slowly kind of fades back into your own skin tone. Right? Like it kind of does, like, if we're like really talking about it. What if they had a backwards arm from the same place as their arm, which was a wing? Well, that's it's the same thing. That's what I'm doing right now. That's what I'm logicking out right now. Right, because it would be like more like this. No, it's like it does have that kind of like scarring look to it, but it's not like, you know, because if it's like an old sort of wound, it'll look more, a little more like that. Yeah, like it permanently changes your appearance, but it's like it fades back into your own skin tone. Now that I'm thinking about it as well, it's like my fiance has a very deep scar that's kind of on his face as well, but it's like it also is like it's just the same skin tone as him. It doesn't have that kind of like pink fleshy sort of look to it. So if it's like older, it'll be a little more like that. All right. Look at the anatomy of an angel from X-Men. Well, that's the problem, right? It's like stuff like this is very like, because it's fantastical, there's only so much that you can reference that is considered correct, right? Because it's like the idea of it is it's like, oh, it's not always like gonna be exactly one way or the other, because it's like it isn't real. So it's like there's some kind of like level of creative liberty that you have to get with it. I like to keep it as realistic as possible, but it's like there are some aspects that it might not be quite so realistic, right? I love it when it is kept as realistic as you possibly can, though. So I'm like, referencing another fictional thing doesn't quite work. It's like, maybe you can reference it for like what you want aesthetically, but like in terms of like, oh, this is like logicking it out, it's like that doesn't quite work. Right? And I wanted to keep it kind of like ripped look, so I don't want it to be perfectly circular, and like we can mess up this form a little bit, you know? But yeah. right? So it would be a little bit more like that, right? If we're talking about, like, the actual slotting section of, like, where wings begin. This is also very low on the back, right? Again, wings are like arms, so the best way that they would attach is at that shoulder blade point, right? But yeah. Yeah, let's build it a realism vibe, yeah, pretty much. Alright, everybody say thank you to Kit. Thank you, claps for Kit. Excellent, amazing, wonderful. Say thank you for submitting, you know? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. June. Oh, that's right, I saw this one. Thank you, Kit. Thank you for submitting. Oh, by the way, same as usual, as it would have been before. If you submitted on this, I end up critting your work. If you want the working file after the fact, open a ticket in the Discord. I will gladly give you your working file. Open a ticket with the admin. You'll get you in touch with me, and I will give you the working file so you can look through the layers. And that's all yours. Sorry, I'm reading the, like, it's like, you have any social media portfolio sites you'd like mentioned? I don't recognize one of these things, and I had to think about one of the others, because I don't remember the names. This next one is by June. They say that their YouTube is 𝘥𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯. Their Kara is 𝘥𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯 with a Z1234. Unveil is 𝘥𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯. Same with my art fight. Let's actually type that out, just so you guys can see it, because I don't wanna write. That's a lot of usernames. Let's type that out. Ooh. The wind? Okay. So what they say is their YouTube is 𝘥𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯 with their Kara, C-A-R-A. I actually don't know anybody who uses Kara that often anymore. I heard about it once and I haven't seen it before. Their Kara is 𝘥𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯 with a Z1234. Their Unveil, I'm not sure what Unveil is. Unveil is 𝘥𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯 like this. And the art fight is also the same. Just in case those usernames and those social media sites are things that you want to check out, of course. Zed, yeah man, I'm not American. But yes, they asked me, they said... They said to me if there's anything wrong with the anatomy or shading, it would be appreciated. Let me just so I can, like, make this a little easier on me. There we go. Choose one name and make it the same everywhere. The problem is that, especially if, like, your username is not, like, super, like, crazy unique, it's, like, it's hard to have the same one everywhere because sometimes people just take them. Yeah, if your name is already taken, it's like, oh, yikes. I don't care, choose it, make it unique. Fair enough, yeah. It can be tough. It can be tough. Yes, they said if there's anything wrong with the shading and anatomy. Now, the big thing that I noticed, the shading specifically, is the shading does not really feel like shadow. Yeah, because what I'm looking at here with these shadows, what I'm guessing what you did was you kind of just took a gray shadow layer and then lowered the opacity. Now the problem with that, right, especially if you have darker skinned characters, this no longer looks like a shadow, right? What this looks like is you're kind of making them ashy, right? Is you're sort of just making them a little bit ashy. It's the same thing with this character back here, same thing with this character back here, right? It does not feel like a shadow because the values are not darkening, right? Your values are staying the exact same throughout all of them, right? And that it don't look great, right? So we really want to change that. We want to make sure, because that does not feel like a shadow at all. So let's change that. The easiest way that you can fix it, if you want to use that gray tone, that's completely fine. I mean, I guess it depends on the lighting and whatever, but if you want to use that gray tone, that's completely fine. Don't make the layer just a normal layer. You gotta make it like a multiply layer. You gotta make it some kind of layer that actually has an effect on it. Guys, when you have multiply or like something that darkens, right, it'll automatically darken the hue that's beneath it, right? So this specifically is a multiply layer. Take the multiply layer. Now it actually looks like a shadow because it is darkening here, right? And another thing as well, right, it's like your shadows are not consistent throughout anything here. One other thing that you want to think about, right, is like, don't just put shadow on places because you can put shadow. Shadow is not a thing that just goes along a line's edge. Shadow is something, there's two different types of shadow. You have your occlusion shadows and you have your cast shadows, right? And your cast shadows are ones that are caused by light source. Occlusion shadows are the ones that are caused by proximity. So occlusion shadows are the ones where it's like, oh, these two objects are so close to each other, there's going to be a shadow between them. Cast shadows are like, oh, the light source is causing shadow to be cast because everything else is in light, right? Yes, shadows are shapes, they are not lines. So if I had to guess, right, just based on, because this is a SpongeBob screenshot, I think the light source is like kind of coming from like up here-ish, right, or like sort of in the back around there, right? So like if we have that going on, if our light source is sort of like here-ish, what we have to do, right, this shadow right here, right, what this is implying to me, this shadow right here being that area, sorry, don't mind me. My fiance just texted me. Is texting me. Sorry, he just texted me on my phone. He just went like, "You're so pretty. Ah, kill him." Thank you, my love. I love you too. Why aren't you typing in chat? Is it just because I'm not reading chat? Because I'm not reading chat as much because I'm focused? I'm sorry. I see you in there. But yes, what this shadow is implying to me, right, is that this is implying to me that the form is here, right? Which doesn't make a lot of sense. This shadow as well right here, what this is implying to me is that it's almost like a... not to shout out Kevin for a second, but it's almost like a shield-like shape like this, and it's almost this kind of like prismoidal shape like that, right? Same thing with the hair up here, right? There's shadow here and here, right? And this sort of implies that this entire thing is almost like a triangular shape, right? And that doesn't make a lot of sense. You know what I mean? Like, that doesn't make a lot of sense. And that's only one character, right? You kind of have that on everybody. There's like this shadow right here, there's a big shadow chunk right here, and this implies that this neckline is completely separate from the body. Babe, what is this image? What are you... I can't share this on stream. I'm downloading it though, that's a funny photo. It's a reaction image, is what it is. It's just... nipples. Yeah. I can't... But right, so your shadows need to be intentional, right? You need to know what the form is that you're hoping to achieve. It's like you need to know what forms are actively being created in that moment, right? So you need to understand what forms we are trying to create based on our shadows, right? Shadows are not just to be placed there, right? Shadows are not meant to just kind of be there and not be anywhere else, right? It's like, you don't just put a shadow down just because you can. You put a shadow down to be able to, like, help the viewer interpret the forms that we are trying to create, right? So, if we say that our light source is up there, right? So, we need to understand the forms of the face, too. And again, I know you, June. Okay? References. I'm gonna ask you once again. I don't think you're in chat, but I'm gonna say it as per usual. I want you to slow down. I want you to get a reference. Because, like, facial anatomy, like, facial forms are something that a lot of people have to visually memorize. And I know you can't do that. So, always have a photo in front of you so you can actually cross-reference and look back and forth. I promise it'll help. I promise. Just because you want to move fast does not mean that you're moving correctly, right? You can do math. It's like if somebody tells you, it's like, what's 376 plus 5,232? You can go, 7. And you're like, I thought you said you could do math quickly. I'm like, yeah, I could. I didn't say I could do it correctly. Right? Similar kind of deal, right? It's like, just because you can move fast does not necessarily mean you are moving fast correctly, right? So let's do this in this way. References are good. References are encouraged, right? So again, it's like if we have that light source from up there, we're going to have some shadow on the inside of the ears here. Right, we'll have some of the earring covered up bottom of the nose, right? We'll have like the bottom of the nose, there's going to be shadow underneath the brow, top of the eye here, right? Because this section just dips in right here. We can have a little bit on the bottom of the chin on both sides, right? The hair up here, you are going to have shadow underneath this sort of hairstyle like this, if you want to, but like there should be no shadow between the scalp and the head itself, because that's flush to the head. There should not be any shadow there, you know? Right, you can have a little bit of shadow between the arms here too, right? You can have a little bit there, but there should not be anything up here. There should be no shadow. There should be no shadow between the neckline and the shirt itself, right? There should be no shadow there. Same thing right here. We've got like this hair kind of overhang, so there might be some shadow underneath the hair here, maybe on the inside of the ear a little bit here, bottom of the hair maybe. Kind of like this. Bottom of the eye, top of the eye, because the like lid hangs over, a little bit of the ear here. Bottom of the nose. Oh, bottom of the nose here as well. Underneath here, right? You kind of get what I mean, right? It's like you have that sort of shadow happening, and it is because I'm tracking where my light source is. And again, it's like sometimes you don't have, because you're doing this, you're basing it off of something else. It's like you have like a reference for where the lighting should be in the background as well. It's like it's based on a meme. They have the lighting back there, and if there isn't really lighting back there, then you have to logic it out yourself. Like, okay, if this is where the lighting is, how is my shadow going to be placed? And if you cannot visually see it in your head, you can really easily recreate it. Take a photo of yourself. Take a photo of maybe a little figure that you have available. Take photos of things. Like, do not just be like, I really want to get this done really fast, so I'm just going to forego all of my references. Like, do not do that, because what, again, it's like, what's 5,000 times 325? It's 18. It was fast. It doesn't mean that it was the right way to do it, you know? It's like, if you want to improve, you kind of have to do it the right way, right? There's a certain level of, like, oh, I am just doing this for the sake of freedom versus, like, because you can draw and you can be like, I'm a hobbyist, I don't actually really care much about improvement, I kind of just want to draw for the sake of drawing. And you know what? Also completely valid. Some people don't really care about, like, the kind of, like, improvement. Some people don't really care about, like, actually being super good at drawing. They just want to draw, and, like, that's completely okay. That is actually completely okay. And I feel like people need to understand that that's completely okay as well, right? That's completely okay. But if you are submitting to a critique stream and you are asking for crit actively, and you want to get better, you know, I'm like, I've given you this advice a lot, you know. It's like it's time to listen. It's time to actively take in the advice that you are being given, right? So yeah, and you can see how the multiply layer works differently than just a layer with the light turned down, right? It's like this one is like you are actively giving them shadow, and it is darkening the like hues that you see in front of you, right? It's actively making them a bit deeper, you know? So it is a lot better in that way. If I were to also flip this canvas, you can also see how some of the facial features, there's a lot of faces here where I'm like, you could probably mess with this anatomy a little more and like improve them, because it's like, you see how this character right here, like their facial features, if they're supposed to be looking forward, right? If we have the crosshair in the center, this crosshair is there for a reason, right? When we draw in this crosshair here, we don't forego it. It is telling us where to put our facial features. That is what that crosshair is for, right? It is not just a thing that you're going to be like, oh, I'm just going to put this down and I'm going to pretend that it doesn't exist, you know? This is here to tell us where our facial features are meant to go. Our eyes are meant to go in either of these quadrants, and our nose is meant to align up with this center thing. Right? But it's like, again, if like I put the crosshair on there and you see where the eyes and where the nose is, it's completely off, right? Completely off from the center, right? Flip your canvas, make sure you're always checking, make sure the guidelines that you put down are guidelines. They are there to guide you and tell you where to put things and tell you where things are meant to go, okay? So again, it's like you gotta be really, really vigilant about certain things, right? It's like you gotta be really, really vigilant about putting down certain things. Hi, Taylor! Thank you! Good to see you! But yes, thank you so much, June. Claps for June. Say thank you so much for submitting. Thank you so much for showing off your work. Appreciate you giving us your work to submit and take a look at. Let's get the next person in here. There's one person that I saw at the end that I was like, why did you submit? I'm like, your work looks good. I don't know what to tell you. Sometimes you just get work like that and you're like, I don't know what you want me to do, man. Thank you, June. Thank you for submitting. This next one is by Autumn. Kevin, do you want to know something amazing? Not a single person in here messed up how to submit. Not a single person. They all got it right. I also love the name Autumn. I have a cousin named Autumn. Autumn is a beautiful name. That's okay. Thank you for popping in. Autumn makes me think of my character, my baby. Real. You have a sister named Autumn? Hell yeah. Dude, I love the name Autumn. It's beautiful. Yeah, Autumn is a beautiful name. I love season names. I love month names. I love the name August, actually. Confession, it's because they uploaded directly. They couldn't screw it up. I know, but like, it's still beautiful to see. There are like 3 steps. How do you mess up submitting? At the other place, people mess it up all the time. Like, all the time. There was not a time where people didn't mess it up. Genuinely. Technically have a character named Autumn. You do? Who? Oh! Yeah, she's your character! She's an NPC. That's still... She's your character. I love it when it just works. It's true. This one is by Autumn. They don't specify what social media site they use, but it is Red Leaves of Autumn. Red Leaves of Autumn, like that, is their social media name. What pronouns do they use? She, her. She said, I've been trying to lean away from the heavy usage of thick lines. Why? And while I have fun with the line list sort of thing, it's not exactly where I want to be. On top of them, I'm not entirely sure of the proportions of the piece. Even something I'm more proud of. What's wrong with thick thick lines? Why are you leaning away from them? Come on. Thick lines rule. Are the best ones. Anatomy-wise, because they're a critter, like, it doesn't... See, I was gonna say, I'm like, it doesn't matter too much. I just noticed something. Because I'm kind of annoying. Hang on. I just need to... Let's just do that really quickly. I noticed something. My pet peeve, my personal pet peeve. This is a me thing. This is such a me thing, but it's... Technically, it's an anatomy thing, too. Thank you! Thank you for popping in. Okay, so... A couple things that I notice immediately, okay? They're small, but they are things that I notice, okay? When you got a thick tail like this, you gotta think of the base of it, right? You have to think about how this tail attaches. And the way that you have drawn this tail, it's like it attaches like this, right? Which... You're getting down into the legs, which it's a little too far, you know, you're getting a little too far down because you're getting close to the knees, right? So you're kind of hitting a spot where the tail is disconnected from the body, right? So I love a thick tail. I love a super thick tail. I do not like it when well, I mean, not that I don't like it, but I love it when tails are super thick and heavy and chunky because I think of their cricket's design as a reference for all, truly, but I love, a tail between the legs is something entirely different. Well, actually, I love really thick tails, but again, thick tails can be more complicated because you need to think about how that connects anatomically. And like Kevin, they also call that a third leg, not a tail. Well, when you have the tail and you want it to be nice and thick, there's two ways that you can do it. One is if you have the body like this, right? If this is your sort of bodily anatomy. Like this, right? We have to think of like the hip connection and the leg up here, right? How the tails usually work, right? If we have a tail, if I was to draw like a skeletal sort of like thingy off to the side here, right? The tails on like everything that has a tail is an extension of the spine, right? It's an extension of the spine. You call it the, oh my god. So this is the lumbar, thoracic, you have the sacrum. It's the sacrum, and then you go down into the coccyx. That's this little thing, right? Right here. This is called the coccyx. Every human has this. This is the coccyx. Is what this is called. Humans have this too. If we had a tail, the coccyx would extend. So it actually comes from a very specific spot, kind of like, if you ever are like, oh, I fell on my tailbone, you bruised your tailbone, that's the coccyx, right? You fell on that and it like pokes into your muscle from the inside, right? So if we are thinking of that, on this critter, right, the tailbone, because this is like the rib, kind of come down into here, or tailbone is like starts like here-ish. Is sort of where that begins, because it's sort of like, yeah, cause like the pelvic arch does like this magic, yeah, so a tailbone sort of starts there, and you can't really have the meat go any farther down than like the butt, right? So the tail should sort of begin here, if you want it to do that, and you can have it go up the back if you'd like. So there's one version where you can do it, where you can have, if I draw it off to the side here, is one version where if you want, you can have it where the tail does like this is the butt, the tail does this, right, and goes down kind of between the cheeks here and does this, right? So it does like, or like it's a little above the cheek, so it does like sort of this magic and comes down this way. So that's one way that you can do it. The second way that you can do it is just have it so there is no end to the torso, right? So it's like, you can have it where the tail is separate. It's actually kind of a pet peeve of mine where it is like the tail just kind of sticks out perfectly straight like this, like it's like the 3D model kind of look, where like it just creates this really hard L because it breaks the flow of the body, is my problem. It is actually like, I designed cricket that way, and bothers me a little bit. It's just, I try and make it so, like, their tail, like, does fall more like this, so it doesn't, we don't lose that flow of the body itself. But it's, like, it really bothers me when it is, like, that intentional, like, perfect break L there. It's just because you lose the flow of anatomy a lot by doing it that way. So it's, like, I did as much as I could with cricket by keeping it at number 1 without, like, moving into number 2, because I'm, like, I wanted to keep it that way, but it's, like, it bothers me just a little bit sometimes. So it's, like, especially with some poses that I do with them, and, like, now that I'm mentioning it, you might see it. There are some poses and some, like, things and, like, ways that I draw them where I kind of, like, break the like, material interaction aspect a little bit with their tail, where it's, like, they're like, oh, they shouldn't be able to sit up against the couch like that. It's like, oh, they shouldn't be able to sit up against this chair like this, or, like, oh, they shouldn't be able to be, like, in this area like this. And I'm just like, you know? It's like, sometimes I'm just like, I'm letting aesthetic do it instead of actually caring. But the second way that you can do it, which is the better way, technically, if you have something with a really big tail, is to not let the torso end. And it's, like, and what that is it's removing the what do you call it? The gluteus minimus and the gluteus maximus, right? And it is you kind of just taking the entire, it's very crocodilian. And the way that you do it is you sort of, like, is you let the tail sort of continue like this, and then your legs kind of appear on both sides like this instead. Right? And this way, you can make the tail as wide as the torso as you would like, and it makes it thicker and it makes it much longer and larger, right? So the pelvis is here, but again, it's very crocodilian, where, like, it is now just kind of like this big long tube that continues from the body itself, right? So there's 2 ways that you can do it, sort of up to you. The first way is a little more broken, the second way works a little bit more, especially if you want that really big honkin' tail, you know? This is what I do with corn. So corn's anatomy actually works with number 2. Cricket's is more number 1, which again, I break it a little bit, but, like, the super thin tails, you'll usually want to go with 1. Number 2 is usually ideal, the thicker the tail is. But it's, like, kind of depends. And I don't know how long you want the neck to be, but just keep in mind that the neck is this long. But that's sort of up to you. In terms of, like, wanting to move away from thick line work, like, that's up to you, right? What you want to do. Having fun with the line of sort of thing's not exactly where I want to be. On top of that, I'm not entirely sure of the proportions. Well, there's the proportions, but in terms of, like, style exploration, that's sort of up to you. That's not something I can tell you. My biggest thing that I can give you advice on maybe is, like, ask yourself why you want to move from thick lines. If it is genuinely just, like, oh, like, you want to, like, explore different visual anatomy, you want to explore, like, different styles, like, that's okay. You know, like, nobody's telling you don't have to do that, right? You can do whatever you want. But if you are doing it because you think that you shouldn't, then, like, who's telling you shouldn't? Because, like, that sucks. That's not fun and that's lame, right? If you enjoy doing it, then, like, keep doing it. But if you feel like you're kind of losing the love for it, like, yeah, switch it up, see what you like more. And in that way, it's just gonna take a lot of exploration. It's gonna take a lot of, like, you know, it's gonna take a lot of, like seeing what other styles you enjoy and testing out new brushes and testing out new, like, materials and stuff like that. And that's, again, something that I can't teach you, something you're gonna have to figure out yourself. But alright, everybody, claps for Autumn. Everybody say thank you to Autumn for submitting. Thank you for giving us your work and letting us take a look at it and letting us give you some critique, and hopefully it was fun and interesting and epic. Hopefully you liked that. Some of these, like, I need help ones are so long, bro. Like, I'm like, I don't know. I'm like, oh god. Like, some of, like, the things people were saying. Oh! Brinso
donated $10 who's that lovely person on my screen? 2 hearts emoji.
2 hearts emoji. Thank you, Brinso, for the $10 dono. Why did it double up? Why did it do that? Oh my god. Hated that. Thank you though, Brinso, for the $10 dono. Why didn't double up the audio? That was very crazy. But thank you so much. Yeah, we're doing an on-cam stream, so you get to see my face. You get to see this mug. Echo Screamer. Yeah, the echoed Kirby screamed like, God. Causing issues. No, I appreciate you greatly. Thank you so much. You don't have to do that. You don't have to dono. I just know a dono goal. Alright, let's take a look at this next person. Who's here? Who are you? Jaden. Kibi. Oh, it's a traditional piece! Let's take a look at that. Stop it! Stop it! Stop it! Stop! This is from the Rainbow Curse. It's one of the few Kirby games I actually haven't played. She doesn't have any social media either. That's alright. You don't have to have social media. Honestly, good for you. Turn on the screen as a slug cat? I would not know. They didn't say it was a slug cat. Is a slug cat a thing? Like, is that the thing from Rain World? I've never played Rain World, but I know of the critters. I've done a commission of somebody's Rain World characters. Yeah, I thought so. Is it Rain World? Yeah? Okay. Okay. I don't know anything about Rain World. I know that it's a survival. I know that I'm not great at survival, so I've never played it. It looks very beautiful. Artception, yeah. I know a lot of people like Rain World, and I'm just like, I've never played it. But yeah, I have done, like, I've done commissions for people's Rain World characters before. But yes. Rain World, I want to play it so bad. I know a lot of people have, like, Rain World OCs, and, like, they ship their Rain World characters with, like, the real, like, actual, like, characters in Rain World. I've never really done that. Like you, I haven't done that since I was a kid. Like, create your own, OCX canon. Like, I haven't done that since I was very young, I feel. Like, I haven't really done that in a very long time. Like, that kind of, like, crack ship sort of vibe. Like, I feel like I haven't done that in a very long time. I guess it's just because I'm, like, I'm a very OC-focused person. I would much rather just write characters, you know? It's so funny that there's OCX canon for Rainbow. There's OCX canon for everything. Do not be like, oh, it's so funny that it's for this thing. That exists for everything. Every motherfucker wants to make a... Every motherfucker wants to be with somebody fictional. That's what I'm saying. It was something that was super shame for no reason. I guess it's just because, like, a lot of people find it cringe or whatever. It's like people hating Yume shipping now, you know? It's like when people are like, oh, it's like, this is my FO or my, you know, my fictional other or whatever. It's like, it's very, like, you know what I mean? It's like people, you know what, just whatever makes you happy, right? I feel weird when it's strange when it gets parasocial and they're an actual other human being. But it's like, if they're like a fake person, like if they're not real, like it's kind of just like, whatever makes you happy, I guess, you know? like I'm not a Yume shipper, but I'm like, as long as you're not hurting nobody, you know? Yeah, as long as you're not hurting anybody, you can be cringe, you can be free, you know? I guess it's just like, I haven't, like, I guess it's just not me because I'm like, I have a fiance. I have a fiance, and like, we play other characters in D&D that romance each other. So it's just kind of like I'm just romancing my fiance again. And that's what D&D is for. If D&D is for nothing else, if you've got a significant other If you're like, we need more spice in this relationship, we need to spice it up. We need more stuff. We need more things to work with. Play D&D with them and romance them again. Can we pretend like it's the first time type shit? That's what I'm saying. D&D's just an excuse to flirt. And here's the thing, I don't like flirting. I'm actually really shit at flirting. I love to say that I'm actually, like, I have no riz. Genuinely. My first imaginary girlfriend was Serena, which was one of a million identical twins of Serena, aka Sailor Moon. Oh. Incorrect? Oh my god. What do you mean incorrect? As an arrow ace, I have no idea how to flirt either. Listen, as somebody who is not arrow ace, I don't know how to flirt. I thought I was ace for a long time. At this point, I just don't care. I don't use labels. I think labels are humans boxing themselves into boxes of their own making. And I think that sexuality is a social construct, and humans were built to love, and that's all we should do. And the fact that we have to apply rules to ourselves is hurting us more than it's helping us. But that's like a really hot take. And like, if you love a label, that's also completely okay. You can do whatever you'd like. The only thing that we are meant to do as humans is choose. So. You know what I'm saying? Babe, what's incorrect? I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Don't mind me cracking my back. You have Riz. I don't, though. Everybody's like, oh, my friend, my best friend, my best friend actually says I have no Riz too. My best friend also is like, you have no Riz. And I'm like, it's true, I don't have Riz. And my fiance's like, do you have Riz? I'm like, I don't. LGBTQ labels are the result of the patriarchy that wants to put us into boxes. Okay, maybe that's a little far. That one, I don't think the labels themselves are the patriarchy. I think a lot of things are the fault of the patriarchy, but I think labels are not necessarily the patriarchy. I think it is just some of us as humans liking to be labeled because we feel that it gives us a sense of belonging. But in that weird way, by creating a sense of belonging, it also creates segregation. You know? And I think that is just as humans. You know? Like, I feel like that one is not necessarily patriarchy. That one is, in fact... We can blame the patriarchy on a lot of things. Don't... Hang on, we're swapping to the full cam. Don't get me wrong. We can blame a lot of things on the patriarchy. Right? A lot of things, patriarchy's fault. However, this one, I feel, is just us as people. Kind of being dumb and annoying. Yeah. And what can I say? And what can I say? And what is stream if we don't bring up the patriarchy at least once? What is a stream with me if I don't complain about the patriarchy at least once, right? Like, what is stream really? If I don't complain about the patriarchy and society at least once, you know? By the way, what I'm putting on my lips right now, I cannot recommend enough. It's from Walmart. If you are like me, and you like matte lipstick and matte lip gloss, or matte, like, lip products more, but you don't like how dry they feel, genuinely, like, this is from Walmart. It's not that crazy. It's like 14 bucks, I think. It's the NYX, I'm not sponsored, the NYX Smushy lip balm. I have two different ones. I have this brown one and I have like a nude shade. They all have different they have a bunch of different colors. I like darker colors on me personally. I like dark browns and like peachier kind of orangey shades because I have like a slightly warmer tone. Do you like my tattoos, by the way? Aren't they cool? But they're kind of like a peachier sort of tone. Or like not peachy, sorry, like orangey tones tend to look better on me because I am like a slightly warmer skin tone. But this, I'm like neutral to warm around there. This is the Smushy Matte Lip Balm. First of all, it is blurring, it is matte, it's very nice, it lasts for a very long time. And it's also hydrating. Which is like very strange for something matte. Like I put it on my lips and I'm like, oh, hydrating. And I really like this too because my fiance has a texture sensitivity. He has a very heavy texture sensitivity to like lip balms and stuff like that. But this is more powdery. It doesn't really give the texture of it's still somehow moisturizing, but it does not give the texture of like lip balms normally that are like a little oilier. It's like powdery, so it doesn't bother him. I really need a hydrating lip balm. If you actually want a really hydrating lip balm, unfortunately, one of the best lip balms that I've ever tried was the Summer Fridays. But it's not cheap though. That one's not cheap. This one's from Walmart. So like if you want something like a little more affordable, but it's also really pretty, this one's good. It also comes in nude shades or like clear. This also comes in clear if you don't like actual like color. It's your lip balms. So there we go. Barely see under your bed under all those plushies. Yeah, that's the point. Sorry, I'm grabbing my child. I want to hold one of my children. This is Bug. This is Bug. My fiance got me this one from Build-A-Bear. How do you sleep there? I put the biggest ones on the ground when I go to bed. Okay, let's go back to critiquing. Let's actually do what the stream is intended. All right. Budge. Bug. Yeah, this is Bug. Bug has a heartbeat. I don't know if... Hang on. It'll probably pick up from the mic. Bug has a heartbeat. Did you hear that? I'm gonna do it again. Hang on. You hear it? Yeah. So Bug has a heartbeat. And he smells like Jolly Ranchers. He smells... Oh, do you know what actually he smells like? He smells like Starburst. Like a freshly opened Starburst packet. Like that. Bug can beat bugs. Yep, with his heartbeat, yeah. Okay, let's go. So this one is by Jaden. She doesn't have any social media. She says that this is a drawing of 𝘧𝘰𝘪𝘯 from the Kirby game is painting a picture of Kirby. I think she's from the Rainbow Curse. She's either from the Rainbow Curse or she's one of like the big, like she's one of like the mini bosses. I can't remember which one. Because I haven't played the Rainbow Curse. It's one of the few Kirby games I actually haven't played. I feel like my line work isn't great and my skills in alcohol markers isn't good either. I think the perspective, especially for the easel, I want to improve as an artist. Hopefully in the future I can be proud of my art skills. Well, the first step to being proud of your art skills is to not put yourself down in every sentence. That's number one. Because weirdly enough, a big part of, I hate saying it, but a big part of art and liking your art more is your mindset about your own art. If you're gonna keep saying, it's that saying, you know, it's like whether you think you can or you can't, you're right? It depends on how you actually decide to speak about your own artwork. And if you are like, oh, it's like I suck and like I am not happy with anything that I create and I hate it and it's not good, you're right. Because guess what? That's what you're telling yourself. And if that is what you're telling yourself, then that's all that you're gonna hear. You know? So, hello, Paula. But yeah, that's sort of just how it ends up being, you know? But I can help you a little bit to get to maybe a place that you enjoy. So, let's get to that then. So that's the thing that I love about traditional pieces, is that the canvas is always so freaking large. The first thing with your line art, the thing that I notice immediately is that your line art, right, when we are doing lines, lines, we want them to have just as much life as our sketch. And what that means is we don't want to trace with our liner. We don't need to be quite so careful with our lines. Lines tend to look the best when you actually mess them up a little bit. When you mess them up a little bit and you give them more visual depth, right? And when you're giving them visual depth, you want them to have a little bit more, like, what do you say? A little more weighting. A little more like, oh, it's like, it's not just like a straight line. It's like you want to like give it a little bit more like movement and a little bit more like depth. So just keeping it all one sort of width is fine. Like if you want to keep your line weight all the same all the way throughout, that's completely fine. But to start, one kind of like piece of advice that I saw from somebody, and I like the way that they explained it, is that line work thickens where dust collects, right? And where does dust collect? Corners. So when you have corners like this, let me just thicken up the lines just a little bit. Oh, let me put this on another layer, actually. And I want this to kind of feel like it's part of this already, so I don't want to make the lines feel too out of place. Right, the lines thicken where dust collects. It's a fun little saying that I heard somebody say once. Art loves variety, yes. You need both a mix of variety and unity in order to your piece to feel like it has harmony. Right, so immediately off the bat, right, I haven't even done that much, but you feel that difference. Right, you see how those lines automatically feel like they have a little bit more life to them, right? Like they feel like they can move a little bit more. And they have a little bit more visual interest to them, right? Right, so it gives it a little bit more visual sort of interest, right? And it gives it a little bit more life and a little bit more serenity. Well, not serenity, but a little bit more. Just a little bit more. Let me also make this a little bit easier to look at. There we go. This is what I love about Speak Photoshop, is it's like I can, like, mess with this a little bit. Like, actively mess with the colors just a smidge. I mess with the curves a little bit on a more, yeah, there we go. Now we can see better. What song is this? This is But Hopeful by 𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯. I'll send it to you, babe. All of my music is downloaded, pre-downloaded. But it is free to use. You can find it on Bandcamp under 𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯. And the links to all the music is in the description. All the music artists will always be in a link in the description. But yeah, you can sort of feel that, right? The line work, how that feels a little bit better, right? Another thing that I might also do, right? You also asked about the easel perspective. We won't get into that just yet. I can't show this to you digitally, obviously, but I really love, what do you call it? Well, I love using alcohol markers. I used to use them a lot when I was younger. And alcohol markers, a thing that alcohol markers love is to be layered. But you have a max amount that you can layer. So alcohol markers, they love to be layered, but you have a max amount that you can layer. And you also have to use very specific paper. Because if you don't, it's going to bleed. Right? So alcohol marker loves very thick paper. It loves heavyweight paper. So you're gonna use like marker paper, very specific kinds of marker paper. My personal favorite specifically is the Canson Fanboy. Canson Fanboy no bleed, no feather marker paper. It's not cheap. That's the problem. Is that's the best one and it's not cheap. But a good alternative is the I believe it's Canson Multimedia. What type of paper is printer paper for reference? Printer paper! Printer paper is thin. It's a thin weight paper. You should really... I don't like printer paper. It's just not good. It's not good for artwork. Not good for mediums, because you can really only use pencil on it, or maybe pen, and then it's dead. But this sketchbook is a nice kind of cheap alternative if you're like, oh, I'm using alcohol markers and I want like a thicker sort of like weighted paper. This is great, the Canson XL Mixed Media. It's cheap. You can get them for like under $20. They're a nice cheap one that you can get. YouTube should not have ads during live streams. Oh, I can turn them down, I think. Let me double check. I can set them to... Yeah. I can set them to be like as low as I possibly can get them if you want, because I'm like at that like and I can only, so there's two options that I have for like as low as I can get them, and that's either one every 30 minutes or automatically place them at low frequency is what it is. Because it's either I turn on ads to get revenue for me, or I turn them off and you get ads anyway. But the revenue just goes straight to YouTube. So it's one or the other, unfortunately, which is kind of annoying. But yeah, it's either tell me what you prefer, because I had it set to once every 30 minutes. Yeah, the second one is vague. I had it set to once every 30 minutes for every viewer. Because I'm like, that one felt the least intrusive, because it's like once every 30 minutes is not that crazy, I feel. Or it's like frequency low but automatic. It's weird. So it's like it's once every 30 minutes. Well, once every 30 minutes we all get it at the same time. Oh, we all get it at the same time? You want me to set it to that? I can do that too. Every 30 minutes. We all get it at the same time. I can do that. It feels shorter than 30 minutes. Yeah, I don't know. Frequency is dependent on the person, yeah. We can have them set to 30 and it's like we all get them at the same time. I can do that. Okay, cool. That should be changed now. You might immediately go into an ad. I do not know. Yeah, because it's either... Speaking of the fuck-ass apple, I figured. Yep, I thought so. That's okay. I'll wait for a moment then. Tell me when y'all are back. You're safe. Yeah, if you have YouTube Premium, you don't have to worry about ads at all. You're good? Okay. Yeah, because I don't mind minding. Ads are skippable? Okay. Get an ad, yeah. It's like, yeah, because it's like, it incentivizes YouTube Premium, in which then I also get, like, a cut of YouTube Premium members as well, if I remember correctly. It's like I get a little bit of revenue from you as well. It must be nice with YouTube Premium, yeah. And, like, a lot of people say that YouTube Premium is super worth it because it's, like, you get everything without ads. You also get, like, YouTube Premium shows and stuff like that. And then you also get free use of YouTube Music, which is, like, that's pretty good, too. Like, for the amount that it costs a month, it's, like, that's a lot. And like, especially if you use YouTube really frequently, that's pretty worth it, I think. That's not skippable, yeah. YouTube Music's my main reason. Yeah, I use YouTube Music. I prefer it over Spotify. I don't like Spotify's layout. But alright, yes, I recommend this paper if you want a cheap alternative, but if you are able to spend the full... I really like Hanson. Fanboy. Yeah, because this one's more expensive because you get less sheets. Like this one, you get like a bunch of pages. Like usually this, yeah, you get 60 sheets in this one, you got 20 in this one, and it costs more. But it's so good. Like this paper is so good. And I'm like, it's yeah, smooth surface, erases cleanly, heavyweight paper for pencil, ink, and marker, no bleeding or feathering. That right here, the no bleeding or feathering, that's the most important part. Because that's like, that means that like the marker will not bleed. And it won't go through the paper. It doesn't feather, so feathering is when like you put it down and it like bleeds on the surface of the paper too. It doesn't do that either. So it's like this paper is so damn good, but it is expensive. So a good alternative is this one, which does bleed a little and it does feather a little, but it's still pretty good. But that's the problem with alcohol markers, is alcohol markers require you to use better paper or else it's gonna bleed. It's gonna bleed, it's gonna, because I can see the edges here where like it's like this, like some bleeding happened here, or like there was like paint that was used over here to like fix the edges, because I assume that this bled out over the edge of the, especially the brown here. I assume this bled out over the edge of the actual line work, which like that's the problem with alcohol markers, right? So you gotta be careful with that a little bit. But yeah, so my biggest piece of advice, if you're going to continue with alcohol markers, I love using them. Alcohol markers love being layered. They love being blended. It's best when you use like little circles to sort of blend them in together. Little circles are like, because long streaks tend to not blend quite as well. Use the little circles, blend them back and forth, very similar to using paint. They're really nice. However, you need better paper, is sort of how it is, right? Yeah, it's not your fault that the tools you use, you gotta work with it. Sometimes you gotta work with what you got, and you gotta learn how to make it so they don't, like, misbehave, but, like, if you can get better materials, it is worth it. But yeah, in terms of perspective with the easel, the way that you have placed your character down, so when you're doing perspective with anything, the way that you can check it really easily is just by how you have everything else in the scene. So your character here is kind of perfectly straight along. There really isn't a lot of perspective going on here. So the easiest way that you could have done this is you just kind of leave the easel also completely straight, like this. And you don't really have to worry about that kind of intense perspective at all. Right, you can also just leave this completely flat, because it's not like we have a lot of intense perspective going on here anyway. So you can leave this completely flat here too, which an easel is more like, yeah, an easel does this magic. And you have a little bit up here, and then it does like the two kind of back things here. But yeah, because it's just like all sort of on the same plane, you don't have to worry about it, right? And again, the way that you sort of figure out perspective is you compare it to what else is in the scene. And because this other character is just kind of flat along the bottom here, you can think the same way with the easel. Like the easel can also just kind of be flat on the ground here. Like you don't really need to think about like there being like really intense perspective. All right. But alright, thank you so much, Jaden. Everybody claps for Jaden. Thank you for submitting. And again, the best thing that you can do for yourself in order to improve sometimes is just, and it's annoying, but sometimes it is a better mindset. Sometimes it is just allowing yourself to like yourself more. Which is kind of an annoying piece of advice, but it is true, weirdly enough. Oh, I saw this one. I really like this one. This one's cool. This next one is by Zilly3. He does not have any social media either. This next one is cool. Metro is kind of big as IKEA. Metro seems like a wild place. Look at this rendering, dude. This is so cool. Oh, they were studying the original up there. That's cool, though. It's a cool study. It's like this rendering is really sick. But yeah, he says he's recently taken an interest to rendering, shading, and painting, whatever it's referred to. Well, they're all correct. I've noticed I've had a bit of trouble with it. I'm aware of the basics, such as using shapes to indicate form, what the light is hitting, what isn't. My issues mainly rely on 3 things. First issue stems from my shapes being messy and tricky to read, which leads to the shading looking muddy as a result. My second issue stems from me being unsure of what values to use. I'm unsure on whether I'm going too dark or too light. Finally, I'm unsure of what type of brush strokes I should be using to create certain effects, like hatching or soft edges. Piece I submitted is a study of a piece by Rebecca draws on Twitter, which I attempt to do in grayscale so I can have a grasp on values. Attach the original version of grayscale in the reference so you can see where I could have improved. Thanks for being open to me to submit my work to be critiqued. Yeah, for sure. That's the dumbest fish on earth, dude. Sunfish? Ocean sunfish are so funny. Yeah. Okay, so value. What values to use and how to use them it is dependent per piece, right? It is not necessarily like, oh, if you are working with this, you have to use this set of values. That isn't necessarily true. Values are determined by what you are drawing and what effect you want and what you end up wanting it to be by the end, right? And in this case, it's like, with the way that they drew this one, how Rekka Draws did this one, is like you have your light source up here, and they had it so it was super reflective on the top of this sunfish, and it got like darker as they went down. So like they have like this super, super bright thing here that is meant to indicate that there's a really, really bright light source above, which is the sun above the water, right? Every color that you use has a value attached, right? And this is called local value. And local value is the thing where each color has a value, predetermined value attached to it that does not require you to think about any sort of light source or anything like that. So red, for instance, this is also very misleading sometimes. The hue cube does not necessarily tell you where the actual values lie. So red has sort of like a mid-toned gray value like here. Blue has a sort of deeper value like down here is what you're looking at. Yellow has a very bright value. It's somewhere up here. Right? So like each color sort of has its own attributed value to it. So that is one where it's like, I don't know which values to use where. There's your first step, is to understand how the value strength of each local value and each hue that you are going to use, right? Understanding that yellow has a lighter value than red, which has a lighter value than blue, right? Green is somewhere. Bless me. Green is somewhere between red and yellow. Magenta is also somewhere within that range between like red and blue, right? Cyan is up there close to yellow, right? So you've got like these kind of values, and every sort of color has like a, thank you. Every sort of color has a value that is attributed to it, right? That's number one. Number one thing that you want to think about in terms of values, what color goes where. Number two, first step stems from my shapes being messy and tricky to read, which leads to the shading looking muddy as a result. Well, the first thing that you should think of in terms of like your shapes of your shadows being like messy is the best thing that you can do is start with really big swaths of shadow and then go back in and smooth them out, right? Because what you're doing right here is like the study is really cool, but you are kind of missing a couple of things, which is like Rekka specifically, if you can actually take a look at this piece, they are using a mix between soft and harsh shadow, right? And the thing with that, with the way that they are rendering is they are picking harsher edges for areas that might have a sharper drop-off and softer edges for things that have a softer drop-off, right? So it's organizing your values and your shadows via that as well, depending on the actual texture of the form itself. I'm gonna make a video about that. That's the next one that's coming out, actually. Depending on the actual shape of the form itself, you need to sort of change the way that your shadow looks if you want something a little more realistic. But a really big thing that you can do that will easily help is start off with big swaths of color. So like if we start off with like, what should I draw? Let's do a fish. If we have like a fish, I'm gonna do a sardine. Right? It's like, let's say we've got that going on. Oh, I totally didn't put this on another layer. Oh, my bad. My fault, gang. My fault. Let's say we've got like a big like a fish. Say you've got a fish. Say you've got a fish, right? And you're like, oh, I really want to shade in this fish. It's like I want to add shadow to it, don't know how. It's like I'm worried about the shadow being really messy at first. Start with the big swaths of shadow first, and then go and like smooth it out and add your detail, right? So the big swath of shadow, let's say that our light source is like here. It's hitting from behind. Just add this like really nice and big shadow. You say that you know how like shadows are shapes and like how they should hit and that kind of thing. So like let's say that we start with this, right? We got our big swaths of shadow first. That's nice and organized. We don't need to worry about anything right there because it's like we understand what is shadow and what is not. So immediately off the bat we have a nice organized shadow, and then from there we can be like, oh okay, well it's like this area is a little bit softer, so I'm gonna like softly blend this in a little bit more. Keep this one a little sharper as it's like casting over the edge here. I think maybe I want this fin to be a little translucent, so we're gonna have some lighter hue coming in from the back here. Same thing with this fin here. It's like maybe it's translucent. So it's like we've got some subsurface going on there, right? And it's like, because we started off with that big shadow, everything is already organized for us. It's like we can just go back in and add those extra details after the fact. You can even add like, it's like, oh, maybe the scales if we want. Add a couple of texture there, right? But it's still like, you can tell what is shadow, what's not shadow, right? Nice and easy. And it's like a nice way to organize the way that you work with, right? I'm not sure of what type of brush strokes I should be using to create certain effects like hatching or soft edges. Well, soft edges, like, those can be done. Every type of brush stroke can be done with every brush. It's just how you use the brush and learning how to use it, right? So, like, this kind of like hatching that this artist did, they used something called a rake brush. And rake brushes are like effect brushes where it is like a bunch of just like lines that are already made within like the obviously my rake brush is different than 𝘰𝘪𝘰𝘪𝘯's rake brush, but it's just a bunch of lines, right? I also have a different one that I actually used the other night. But like it's a different kind of hatching though. Where are you? This one, like this kind of brush, which adds like kind of like a hatched texture. I actually want to use this one more. I used this the other night and I was like, well, this is actually really cool. I should use that more. There's this one, right? There's a bunch of different effects brushes that you can use too. Tringle. So like there's those as well, and it's like you can use, and it's like again like soft shadow, like you can, I like to use a textured brush to get my soft shadow in there and render them back and forth. You can also just use a soft brush, like those exist as well, like this kind of like soft airbrush, those exist too, but that is not a beginner's brush. I actually don't recommend that you start with the soft brush because they can be kind of tricky to handle over time. I like to use brushes like this for my soft shading, so I'm like, I love it when it's like there's more texture in there. But again, it is like types of brush strokes, it doesn't matter, right? It's like types of brush strokes, you can get any kind of brush stroke effect that you want just by knowing your material well enough, right? Like, some people, I could realistically do all of those, like, things with my chisel brush, right? It's like, as long as I know how to handle, like, I can, like, instead of doing that, it's like, as long as I just, like, with enough effort and enough control with my own hand and enough practice, like, I can do, like, all of these with just my chisel, right? And I'm like, I can, like, especially, like, the soft shading, though, it's like, that's gonna take a little bit more effort. But, like, I can also do, like, something a little more blurry looking with the chisel. It just requires you to have a good sense of knowledge about the materials that you're using, right? So it's like, what kind of, like, brush strokes you should be using to create certain effects. It's just skill. Like, if there's no such thing as, like types of brush strokes, hatching is a type of brush stroke. What is it? Hatching is a type of brushstroke. Like, like, soft edges are just an effect of a brushstroke, right? It's difficult, but, yeah. Oh. Oh no. Why did Roma get modded? But yeah, studying is important, and, like, just actually practicing control of the hand is important, and that's about it. But alright, everybody, claps for Zilly. Thank you so much for submitting, Zilly3. Right? That was your name? Yes, Zilly3. Thank you so much for submitting. Good luck with your sunfish. Watch the latest video. There will be another one with actually shading, with actual shading in there. This one, the latest one was just lighting. We're talking about shading in the next one. I think it's because I tried to ping with mobile. Oh, I see. Darn. Miss claps for Zilly. Thank you. Bootleg! Bootleg's next. Bootlegged human on Instagram with underscores between each word. Traditional work. Huh. Oh no, Rekka Draws is the person that they were referencing. The person who did the study is Zilly. But yes, thank you for Rekka for the reference. Oh, I didn't download it yet. Oh yes, this one. No, it's all good. Thank you, Zilly. XILLY3 Zilly. Sunfish are your favorite fish? That's a good pick. Superfish drawing the birds. Any help with that would be awesome. I also tried using my inking to help give the armor a shiny look. I don't think it quite works. Any tips on that would be also greatly appreciated. Also, owning anything else that stands out. Cool. Ah, I see. I think the bird is fine. I think that he's very silly. Like, it is like birds from the front are so tough. Frankly, bird probably wouldn't have their legs that far apart. Like, they would have them far, but it wouldn't be that far, I don't think. Oh! Let's fix that. I deleted the layer by accident. I'm sorry. Let's just... Ooh. Again, traditional work, which means the canvas is freaking huge. Right, let's just lower that real quick. Like, the bird would be, like, not that crazy, frankly. Okay. It's either murder or nothing behind them. Alright, let's... Yeah, so if we have the burb here, real quick. It's got an ad. Is everybody in ads now? He smells like Jolly Ranchers. Like, he smells like Starburst. Is everyone in ads? Yeah, it looks like it. Short ad. Ad break, sniff break. He smells nice. You can skip him? Okay. He smells like Jolly Ranchers. He smells like Jolly Ranchers and Starburst. Because it's like at Build-A-Bear, you can get them to smell like something. See, he smelled like candy. You know, he smells really nice. Oof. His little sweater's coming off. I want to buy him more clothes. His little... like his bear sweater. He's so cute. You know? He's so cute. He's got a bear sweater. What do you do at Build-A-Bear? You pick whatever plush that you want, and like you get to like stuff the plush with fluff, and like you can pick out clothes, you can pick out a scent, you can pick out whether you want a heartbeat, or you can have a recorded message that, like, if you squeeze them, they play the recorded message. You can do the heart ritual, which is like they give you like a little like plush heart, and then they tell you to do a bunch of stuff with the heart. One that I remember really, two that I remember really like clearly is like you took the heart and you rub it on your back because your best friend will always have your back. You rub them on your side because they'll always stay by your side. Like, it's cute. Like, it's very cute. And yeah, you could pick out clothes, and then like the person who's helping you out like sews them back up and sews up all the things that are meant to be in them, and then you pay and you go and you have a friend. It's really cute, yeah. No, I want one. They're not cheap. They're not cheap. I'll tell you that right now. They're not cheap. They're not a cheap, not a cheap guy. That's why my fiance and I got matching ones for my birthday. Because I've been wanting us to get matching Build-A-Bears for a long time. Because I've never gotten a Build-A-Bear as a child. So they're not cheap, but they are fun. Like, they're fun to make and they're fun to choose. I'm just very happy that they had the goat, because the goat is very, very popular apparently. But yeah, it smells really, really nice. And you can pick the scent too, so there's a bunch of different scents. I should have gotten the pumpkin spice. So my fiance got the pumpkin spice, and I didn't smell it because I didn't realize it smells like my favorite candle, you know? Build-A-Bear's not for children. They can't afford those prices. In my area, actually, there's a lot of kids that I always see in Build-A-Bear. They're always getting Build-A-Bears. It's really nice in there. Alright, have a good one. I know, it's why I haven't gotten one yet. Yeah, but you gotta. They're so cute. I love the goat. Like, I wanted to go to Build-A-Bear for anything but a bear, essentially. Okay, we're back from ads, though. Let's get back into it. Okay. But yeah, bird. I think, yeah, you did fine. I think you're just missing the tail, in which, like, you'd probably want the tail down here more. And it's like, bird, unfortunately, from the front, you're gonna have more of, like, the beak. Like this. And birds also have their eyes on either side of their head. Usually. Or it's like they're kind of like... Well, I guess if it's a bird of prey, like their eyes are kind of like this. But you're gonna have like... I'm gonna be a little bit more like this. There's gonna be less of a cut in from the head to the body. They're actually very connected. You know what I mean? So it's gonna be a little bit more like this, right? There's gonna be less of like a cut between the two. When you are doing metal, like metal when you're working traditionally, the thing with traditional, what is it? The thing with traditional work is, by comparison to digital, that's very forgiving. Traditional, you have to plan. You got a lot of planning, and it doesn't necessarily mean you have to write down a plan. You gotta just have it in the back of your head. And metal requires a lot of it, right? Because metal, you really have to think about which materials you're putting down first, and what you're putting down second, what you're putting down third. Because if you put something down, you're gonna get to a point where you can't fix it, and you can't go back. Because marker and like liners and stuff like that, they can't be erased, right? This looks like alcohol marker, so it's like you can't really go back. Yeah, no control Z on paper, right? So when you're working with metal, it's best to work with negative space because like metal, if you hesitate on your mind, draw it very lightly, or do testing paper. Have a test paper off to the side. I had it all the time. When I worked with markers a lot more when I was younger, I had testing paper off to the side. It was like scrap pieces of paper that I didn't use as much, and I would test out different colors. I test out different combinations to see how they looked, and it just made it easier, so then the final product always looked better. But best thing that you can do, right, when you are having metal, I'll give you like the order, right, that you would want to do stuff in. Ooh! Eh? Oh. There we go. Sorry. Literally freaking spooked me there. Okay. But I'll do it in the order that, like, I would do it, like, traditionally, right? So, we start off with the white paper here. Let's say that I want this to look metal, like metal. What I would do... I don't actually have a marker brush. Wet media. Do I have any... This is paint, right? Oh, it's a smudger. Because I don't really have, like, yeah, it's another smudger. I don't really have special effects, circles, rings. Yeah, I don't have anything that, like, mimics marker, per se. Yeah, I didn't think so. Nah, I can do the closest thing I got, right? So let's say I've got this bad boy going on, right? Alright, we start off with the white. So what I'm gonna do... Oh, the camera's in the way, you're right, actually. Let's move that over. What I'm gonna start off with is my gray, right? We're gonna start off with the gray, and I'm gonna be like, okay, I kind of want my highlight to be sort of here-ish, right? I'm like, I want the highlight to be here. We're gonna have our low light here, right? So we're going to draw this in, and we're gonna leave negative space, right? Because with marker and with paint and everything like that, you can always get lighter. You can't always get darker, but you can get, or you can always go darker. You can't go lighter all the time, but you can always go darker. So if we leave negative space like this, we're working with the page for highlights, right? So we do that, and then we can go back in with our other markers and our other liners and stuff and work with that. And actually, genuinely, what I would do is, like, I would take a lighter kind of like purpley kind of color and go over the gray here a little bit, and that gives you a little bit of bounce light too, right? So it kind of helps with like giving you like that secondary lighting thing. So with here, with this guy, right, I'm like, what I would have done is I probably would have, because I can see what you were trying to do with the black here. I would have left like an area like this. Let me actually, let's... Just so I can... There we go. And then I can lower the saturation a little bit. There you go. So we can give you some of that paper sheen back. But yeah, it's like I would have highlighted, left some highlighting here and here, right? So it's like that would have, like, you kind of see what it does. It's like it helps it. And then I would have layered this darker gray a little bit more on here. Just a little bit. Right, and that kind of helps bring the metal-y sort of look out a little bit more, right? Hard to master negative space, especially on paper. Yeah, it's tough. Like, negative space is not like a thing that's taught as much. I didn't learn the importance of negative space until I was in university. But, like, it is, like, especially with marker and, like, traditional medium, you kind of learn to work with every aspect of the canvas, including the canvas itself. I saw somebody once who was, like, painting jeans, and they use the canvas texture, like the actual texture of the canvas itself, and they dry brushed on like lighter blue color onto the jeans to give it the jean-like texture, right? So traditional medium teaches you to use every aspect of your canvas, which is also why I'm like, you should learn traditional work. If you're a digital artist, learn traditional too. All right. But yes, thank you so much, Bootleg, for submitting. I'll see you around in the Discord as well. But yes, thank you so much for submitting. Claps for Bootleg. Thank you so much for submitting your work. Thank you for showing it off. We appreciate you, and we appreciate whenever you pop into stream. And I hope you get to see this bit as well. Oh gosh, wasn't saving for a second. Oh, this is another really long casualty. This is another really long paragraph here of what he needs help with. He does not have any social media. Casualty. Oh, another traditional. Got a lot of traditional ones this time around. Oh. See, somebody likes One Piece. It's the facial anatomy. It feels One Piece, the facial anatomy. This is number 8. Hello, welcome in. I am having a pretty good day. Alright. Moral of the story, traditional is peak, actually. It actually genuinely is. I find that, like, I love digital work and I do it very often. There are certain things that digital cannot replicate when it comes to traditional, and like I love traditional line work so much. Like working with like a micron pen is so like, oh my god. Ah! Thank you for the star for 2 jewels. Cool and epic and awesome and amazing. Timing, yeah, it spooked me. God, this is so long. Are we ready? The main thing I wanted to critique on for this was how to make the design more interesting. The practical tips are needed as well. The basic idea of the design is half monster warrior, which I think comes across the design could be more interesting or unique. I'm not too happy with the armor. I feel it lacks clarity and hasn't been drawn in a way that alters the silhouette well, so any tips on drawing clothes or armor or designing costumes would be much appreciated. I wonder if it could be used to contrast the monster part somehow. I'm also worried I made her too pretty for the half monster part. I want her to still clearly be a woman though, because I thought it'd be cool to show elements of traditional femininity alongside such a design, but I don't think she looks scary or muscular enough. Tips on how to play with anatomy much appreciated. Most of what I've done is on the face. Hair doesn't grow on one side and cheek is supposed to be missing, though it's hard to see, so maybe playing on the other parts of the body would be a good idea. I'd be curious as to your thoughts on this since it seems like your forte. She has bug wings at the moment, though also considering a third deformed arm. That's most of what I'd like her take on, though anything else would be much appreciated. As context, my idea for the story was that as she travels and meets members of the monster species and reconnects with that part of her, she learns to control and regrow that half until it looks healthy. Initially, she is disconnected from that knowledge and part of herself, so it looks raw and unhealthy, though since they are a hunter species, it's stronger than the human muscle, which I don't know how to balance. Two swords were inspired by Reapers and Wanderers crests. As I was playing Silk Song, Hornet didn't form a lot of the design. The larger glaive was left by her monster father and swung around by the monster arm, while the human arm uses a lighter short sword. Okay. Alright. Paragraph, yeah. She's like, I gotta look at that again. I don't think I processed all of that. So this is the thing, it's like when it's long paragraphs, it's hard to kind of know. Okay, so the number one thing that I'm kind of just getting here is you want it to be more monstery, but you don't want to let go of the femininity. But you also want it to be more... A lot to take in. Yeah, it's a lot to take in. Here's my problem, right, immediately with the design. Like, the first thing that I noticed... First of all, I did not notice the bug wings, not until you mentioned it. Second of all... I do not get the monster bits at all, is sort of the thing that's happening here. Is I do not see monster at all. I sort of see just a woman with, like, sort of like a shadowy bit on her, right? If you want to get monstery, you gotta get weird. That's the thing, right? If you want more contrast, then it has to contrast, right? I'm like, if you want something that feels like more monster, because like right now, again, like I didn't see this hatching as well. that you have done here. Like, I see the teeth now, like the cheek is missing there, but because of this hatching, I can't see it at all, right? It doesn't really give off much of that textural difference. So it's like I could not tell. D&D character sheet, background type of paragraphs. Yeah, no, truly. And it's like, I'm like, the bug wings are fine, I feel like, because it's like they don't really feel like wings. Again, it's like they're kind of hard to discern in the back here, right? I'm like, I can't really see them. They're kind of just like this is the wing, right? I'm like, I can't really tell. I would look up bug wings, right? Because I'm like, a bug wing isn't just like this, right? That's not what a bug wing really looks like. You're like, bug wings, it depends on the bug too. Like, it depends on what kind of insect you're looking for, but it's like bug wings are usually shaped a little more like this. And then you have like more of this kind of like fractalizing sort of shape to it. It does depend on the, again, it depends on the insect, depends on what you're looking for, but it kind of like does this like glass sort of look depending on what it is that you're looking for. Yeah, welcome back to Strange Magic, right? We were just talking about it. Alright, something more like that. But if you are starting with bug inspiration, like if you have like those insecty sort of like, yeah, dragonfly wings would be a good time. If you had more, if you want more of that insecty look, you have to push it. Because again, right now, this just like, it's like, I want the contrast between the femininity and the monster. There's no contrast. All that I'm seeing is a woman who is like fit, and then she has bug wings, right? And like a maybe little bit of darkness on the side. Push it, exactly. If you think that you have pushed it, push it more because you haven't done it enough, right? So my, sorry, I want my gray back. I don't like working with pure white. If you want like a pushed sort of like design, it's like a big problem that I have with like a big problem with me, like that I have a lot of the time when people are like, I want to make this half monster character, they can never let go of the human. That's my biggest thing, is it's like, if you are working with a monster-y character, they can never let go of the human. Like, it's always like, especially when it is like, I hate to profile, but especially when it's like anime artists, it's like they want to keep that like pretty or that handsome kind of character that's behind them way too much. You'll see it with a lot of like main characters that are half monster. The monster is like 99% of the time still very humanoid, still very like one for one with a person. I love Kaiju number 8. Amazing anime, super, super good. The monster that he turns into, the kaiju that he turns into, is a little disappointing. Like, I won't lie. Right? Because it's kind of just a dude. Right? I'm like, this, like, the villainy monsters, the villainy, like, critters always end up looking different because they let go. They always end up looking better because they let go of the human a little bit more. Right? For those who watch Dandadan, like when Okarun, I have not watched Dandadan in so long, but like when Okarun has like his second form, it's also just kind of a dude, right? And I'm just like, you know, like I'm kind of like about it, right? So I'm just like, I want like, you know, but here's the thing, Kevin, even with the ants, the main ants of Hunter x Hunter, I love Hunter x Hunter, even, like, you have the main guy, the big ant, he's a dude. He's just a dude with a tail. Right? They have such a horrible, like, they have such a problem with letting go of the humanoid. Right? Like, even when you have the main dude, I don't remember his name, but then you have, like, 𝘴𝘴𝘴𝘴, and, like, they're also, like, just kind of a cat girl. Right? It's like when you have, like, the non-main character-y ones, they always look better. Get farther in, he looks different. Like, I guess so. Turbo Granny is kind of a dude. Get farther in, he looks different. Yeah. I don't know. It's just, like, I feel like I if you want to push it, like, you gotta push it, right? So, like, you watch it we've never seen before. Yeah, it's like, there's people who have a really tough time of letting go of the human, right? So it's, like, if you really want this character to be like a, yeah, 𝘴𝘴𝘴𝘴 is like the end game of human ant. Yes, and they're just people, you know. Meruem, that's right. I remember his name. It's been so long since I've watched Hunter. It's so good though. But if you want like the like pretty like kind of person and then like half the frame of Poof with the half ant face is iconic. Yeah, it's good. Like I want more of that, you know? It's like you can have like the half like this, right? But then it's like if you want like to bring in that monstery like you've already got a thing with bugs going. Like let's keep it up, right? Like if you have like something with wings, let's look at a dragonfly for a second. Dragonfly. Close up. Here's the problem. Dragonflies are cute. Like, I'm like, this is not that scary. Then again, I'm kind of annoying. I don't find bugs up close that scary, usually. Dragonflies are so cute, though. They're just guys. Bob's Mutants Aliens is just naked gray dude. Aliens in a fashion and culture and unique anatomy. One of my favorite depictions that I've ever seen of an intelligent alien species was, it was one of the episodes of Love, Death, and Robots. If you are under the age of 18, do not watch Love, Death, and Robots. But one of the scenes, one of the episodes, it was called The Hive? Something like that? It was that one, and it started off with like a human scientist talking off with this other like alien like intelligent life form, and they're both speaking the same language, but like the alien was like this four-legged like it was a quadruped. It was a quadrupedal, was not humanoid in the slightest. It was very like, it was wonderful. It was a beautiful like design. I was just like, oh. Love, Death, and Robots is really good, by the way. If you haven't seen Love, Death, and Robots, like, every episode is a different sort of short story, and it's really, really good. Actually didn't think they lost. You did not miss that crit, no. What? There we go. Now we're cooking with gas. Let's say, like, it's like we have, like, the nose here. It's like, what if it's, like... Because the best thing about bugs is they are so, like... They are so broken apart, right? Because they have exoskeletons. So it's like each piece of their face is just so, like, piecey, right? It's so, like... Right, you could do something like this. Where it's like, then like you have like this sort of insecty, kind of gross, monstery look, right? And it's obvious, right? It's like, oh yeah, it's like they're like half this thing, half the other thing. Like I see it now, right? You gotta push it. You gotta make it more obvious. Oh, Kevin is making a poll. Kevin has made a poll. You know, and it's like you can really push that sort of like insecty kind of feeling, right? And the same thing when you get down to the arm. If you want them more muscular too, right? It's like, just broaden the shoulders a little bit as well. It's like broaden the shoulders and like make the muscles more defined. Humans are some of the least sexually dimorphic creatures on this planet. it is real. It is honestly like such a shame when people are like, oh, it's like I can't make them more muscly because they're a woman. It's like, that's not true. Just use what you think is masculine anatomy. You'll get what you want. You're caging yourself. You're caging what you think this character should look like because you're sticking to one aesthetic that like society has pushed on you. Muscles are the same on every human. We all have the exact same muscles. If you want a muscly character and you're like, oh, but she's a woman, I have to look at women with muscles. No, you don't. Find a man. Find a dude. Genuinely. Like, it's not that hard. You know what I mean? The artist in you should be uncaged. Exactly. Yeah, and then it's like you have like, because yeah, it's like you have like just 2 human arms, right? And again, it's like I'm kind of working off of wasps right now. It's like, frankly, like, if you want this kind of like insecty sort of look, which like I'm kind of like just kind of giving you like, oh, it's like, what if you worked insecty? Like, you don't have to. But if you did, like, you could have this thing where it's like one arm is so much longer than the other. And it's got like a different kind of like end to it. Because it's like you're working with like the insecty sort of thing. And like that feels more monstrous, right? Again, it's contrast. It's you working with, right? With that. Right? And it's like this kind of helps, and it feels more monstery, right? It feels crittery. Right? It's like this is so much more obvious that they're like this half monster thing. And it's like, yeah, you can keep the humanoid if you must, right? If you want to keep that in there, but it is like, it's like now like this feels more like, oh, they have this half monster side that is sort of taking them over, right? And you know what's great about bugs? They got built-in armor. They have an exoskeleton. You don't have to worry about armor design that much because they kind of got armor already, right? A spider straps my ceiling, so I tried to move him, but I lost him. Sorry if I stepped on you, spider. No! Sorry, spider. Find a man, says the one who's engaged. But yeah. Right? So it's like, this feels more original. It feels more interesting, you know? But yeah, that's about as much as I have to say about this one. I'm like, there's a lot of like, yeah, because it was a lot of stuff like talking about here, but I'm like, the big thing for me is it was just like do more. You know, I'm like, you can be more interesting with it, you know, because it's just like, if you just have a person who's like got like kind of texture on one side and no texture on the other, that's just a person with burn scars, you know? I am like, that's not a monster. You're just drawing somebody who maybe has burn scars, and they're very real, you know? Yeah, where's your sword? Don't need it. Don't need it. But alright, thank you all. Thank you, Casualty, for submitting. Appreciate you giving me your work to take a look at. Hopefully that was somewhat helpful. Because, yeah. Sometimes the best thing you can do is just work so far out of your comfort zone. Tricks. Oh, okay. People with red characters love to name them Alistair. I've noticed. Your name is Tricks, right? Yes. Okay. Their name is 𝘫𝘰𝘪𝘯, this next artist. Trix. Seriously, not even Alistair. Not even spelled just that way. Like Alistair, Alistair with an E. Allister as well. Alistair. All night artist, try not to name your OC Alistair, Kai, Sunny, etc. challenge. Hey! Listen, I thought Sunny for an eldritch deity was funny. Hey! Calm down. Listen, that's not their full name. That's just a nickname. Hey! Doesn't Kai mean king? Okay. Kai is like the non-binary name. It's the non-binary name. You know? We're gonna end the poll. Yeah, see, I thought so. 19 to 25, 25, something under 17. Yeah, 19 to 25 is what I kind of assumed majority of y'all would be aged. Because according to YouTube statistics, everybody is above the age of like 30. And I'm just like, that don't feel right, you know? Yes, 𝘧𝘰𝘪𝘯𝘰𝘳𝘥. A normal, unassuming name of an eldritch character is a good contrast. Their name is 𝘧𝘰𝘪𝘯𝘰𝘳. It's just Kingsley, her son in there was like, 𝘧𝘰𝘪𝘯𝘰𝘳 is kind of a handful. We're gonna call you Sunny. Alright! Because I love just word names. Like, most of the names that I will pick for characters are just words. So I'm like, Sunny and Kingsley were very different in that way. Because they actually had, like, names. Like, names. Okay. Trix says, they say, in simple terms, I'm struggling to give off the right tragic antagonistic vibes in his outfit. Specifically in the more silent calculator has an internal conflicts type while keeping his backstory being an experimented subject escapee. So what would I need to suggest these ideas? Extra context, this being is just more corrupted, hence the black act escapee. What would I need to suggest these ideas? I mean, he's very Ben 10-y. Is what I'd like my immediate thought, right? Is like the way that his outfit gives me is it's very cyberpunky, right? Is not necessarily like a character that I would think is like, oh, it's like they're like tragic and they're like an escapee and they're like naming your OCs is genuinely so hard, no shade to anybody. I feel like I've never, sorry to cut myself off, I feel like I've never had a problem naming my characters. It has never been a problem for me because I kind of just like, I sit there and the names come to me from the ether. Like, I'm just like, I sit there for a little bit and then my brain's like, they're gonna be named this. And I'm just like, okay, let's go with it, you know? Cricket was named after a cat. Like, sometimes I'll just hear words and I'm just like, oh, that would make a good name. Cricket is named after a cat of one of my old students. They had a cat and their name was Cricket, and I was like, I'm gonna save that for one day. You know? Corn was named after a meme. Neptune's, Lonnie's named after a doll artist. You know? I'm just like, it's like the names are just bestowed upon me. I'm just like, okay. Yeah, I'll just go with that, sure. You know? Okay. Oh, is this you, Cult of the Hermits? Are you the artist? Are you Trix? Is your name Trix? Are you the artist in chat? Artist in chat! Everybody point! Artist in chat! Artist in chat! Everybody point! Everybody point, artist in chat. Cult of the Hermits is here. This is Trix. Trix's character. Yeah, artist in chat. Alright. Artist spotted. Artist spotted. Everybody point at the artist in chat. Alright. Let's critique you. I'm gonna be really mean because you're here. I'm kidding. I won't be mean. I'm not that mean, I don't think. Yeah, my big thing that it's like if they're meant to be sort of like a tragic sort of character, they're meant to be like something that feels a little more tragic, you gotta dirty him up. Because it's like he kind of feels very clean right now. Again, very Ben 10-y, right? It's like he sort of feels like he doesn't really feel like antagonistic, nor like he feels somewhat antagonistic, but he definitely doesn't feel tragic. It's like to me he sort of feels like he kind of feels like the Kevin Levin, you know, where it's like he's not a tragic antagonist, but he's more like an anti-hero, or like you hate him at first and then he becomes your friend and he's just a little annoying, you know, especially like the way that he kind of like vibes, right? So it's like Kevin Levin, yeah, where's my fiance? I'm talking about Ben 10. But like, so like to me, I am like the way that you can make him feel more tragic and like an escapee, and like he seems like the kind of character that's like definitely an antagonist, but like feels more like you feel a little bad. Yeah, just dirty him up a little bit, right? It's like his outfit is too clean. It's like he feels too clean, you know? I would even say that with the hair as well. I'm like, because he's got an undercut. I'm like, undercuts are a hairstyle that takes a lot of maintenance, right? Undercuts and like that kind of like shaved under, having only one part long and the rest short, that also takes a lot of maintenance, right? If you have somebody who wants to feel like tragic and like a little more escapey and like that kind of like thing, you might want to like mess him up more, you know? Kind of like make him like more. Go on. No. Since I've made a mistake of some kind. You know? Like, if you like if you have this character, like if you want them to feel more antagonistic, the nose and the way that they look, they kind of... I don't know anything about the Owl House. That is my thing. I don't know anything about the Owl House. Like, I would have it so it's like keep the one bang thing, like, to hide, like, this side of the face, but do that to the rest of the hair, too. If they're, like, an escapee and they're meant to kind of feel, like, a little more rugged, it's, like, keep all of the hair that length, because then it's, like, oh, it's, like, we don't have time for a haircut. This now feels more natural, right? Less intentional, more natural. I do have art fight. I haven't participated in many days, though, because, I'm a busy human. But I do have art fight though. This is not my artwork though. This is me critiquing other people's artwork. I should close this file. This is me critiquing other people's artwork. This is not my work. But yeah, it's like that, and it's like I would like have this scarf be like higher. And it's like, I wouldn't even have it as like just a scarf. I would have it as like an overall cloak. And you know what making it a cloak does? Means you don't have to draw the body. So if you have like just an overall cloak, sort of like this, right? It's a little cliche, but honestly, I feel like it would actually work better for this kind of character, right? It's like maybe instead like have like the cloak, like instead of like the arms showing, it's like have the cloak go down to like here and have it in like 3 pieces like this, like almost like poncho-y, so it's like their arms can pop out if you want them to, but it's like have it more like this. And it's like, you can like tear up the bottoms of it a little bit, have them like fray at the bits here, right? Maybe have a couple spots that are like a little bit more torn, just make it look old, right? It's like, don't have it be so clean. Like this. And then it's like the underside of it, like don't have like this patterning and stuff, like just have it genuinely just be like straight, like just like the bodysuit, and like that's it. Right? Keep it as simple as you can, right? Because, like, if he's an experimented subject, like, if he's, like, a test subject, they're not gonna put patterning on the clothing, right? Why do they care if it looks good if he's just gonna be tested on anyway? So if you just keep it as, like, just a straight, like, just suit like this. Think about, like, the hospital gown, like, they give you. Is that, yeah, an old hospital gown. Think of, like a hospital gown that they give you. They're not thinking about design, it's practical, right? It's a sterile piece of clothing, right? So it's like, if they just wanted to do some sort of test thing, then it's like, just keep it as, like, the leotard, and then, like, if he was an escapee, like, something that he could just grab and run and make him as, like, inconspicuous as possible. So, like, a cloak like this, like, is very, like, oh, it's, like, it's kind of dirty, but, like, you're not looking at me kind of thing, right? But yeah. Everybody claps for Tricks. Thank you so much for submitting. Thank you so much for showing me your artwork. I was, like, looking at this, and then I kind of did this part, and I was like, you know what, who this feels like? This feels like one of my DM's character, one of the NPCs, in the campaign with Cricket. His name is 𝘴𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯, and he's, like, this furbolg who, like, so, my DM did something kind of cool. Let me save this file. Yes, I hope that this was helpful. I hope that you enjoyed. My DM did something cool where he had this other party, within the, I'm taking just a short break. He had this other party, like, that he made, to, like, kind of be alongside us. They were, like, a, what do you call it? Like, almost like a set of rivals, in a way. And, like, it's very useful, I'm glad. And they were, like, he wrote them to be, foils of our characters, but as time has gone on, like, there are multiple answers for whose foil is who. So it's, like, this rival, kind of, like, other party of, like, that we eventually became friends with that are, like, foils to our party, which is pretty cool. But we've kind of been slowly guessing whose foil is who. 𝘴𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯, the furbolg, is almost certainly Cricket's foil. Like, we're all just like, oh yeah, it's 𝘴𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯. Like, 𝘴𝘪𝘴𝘃 is absolutely Cricket's foil. Because Cricket's whole thing is that they're looking for their father, and, like, they were told growing up how much, like, how lovely their father is, so, like, it's like they want to, like, save him. 𝘴𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯 grew up without his mother, but blames her for everything because he and his father were kind of left in, like, the back streets of a city to like, die, essentially. And, like, the father said to, like, never blame her, but, like, he ends up, like, dying, and, like, 𝘴𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯 ends up blaming his mother, so he's also looking for his parent, but he wants to kill her. So it's, like, that kind of, like, foil, and it's like, 𝘴𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯 is, like, is Cricket's foil, right? But so I was like helping, and I'm, like, doing, like, these design changes for this character, and I'm like, he's starting to look like 𝘴𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯. But I mean, like, it's genuinely, like, if you have, like, this kind of tragic character who is, like, sort of left in the dirt, and it's like they kind of want to hide themselves a little bit, right? It's like this, like, it's a really easy look that you can do, you know? You know what I mean? But yeah, foil found you. The foil was so easy. It was like, that one was so obviously like Cricket. Like, it's like, oh yeah. Like, it was definitely, that one was intended to be Cricket, and it was like, we kind of are like, it's like, we could also see this other character, her name was 𝘧𝘰𝘭𝘭𝘰𝘳𝘥. 𝘧𝘰𝘭 was also very, like, she is, like, this paladin who's very sweet, but, like, her magic contrasts really heavily with, like, her as a caster. And it's like, we can also see that with Cricket as well, because it's like, Cricket is also very gentle and sweet, but their magic is very off-putting because of where it comes from. So it's like, we could also see 𝘧𝘭 in that way as well. But yeah. Okay. Based on the time, I actually have to, because we have people coming over today, so I maybe have an hour left. So we'll see how many people I can pop in, or how many people I can create before the end. So yeah, we've maybe got like an hour, half an hour left of this crit stream. So we'll see how much I can do. We've got a beginner. I want to draw this foil character now beside Cricket. I can picture the art now. Oh, they're so different. Cause like 𝘥𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯 is not only like tall, but he's like twinky. So it's like he's like thin. He's like this thin, tall, lanky character because he's a rogue. So it's like he is very opposite to Cricket. It's really funny. 2 months, 3 months, get back to the draw. Hello, I'm currently at 2 months, or rather 3 months of you reading this, of getting back into learning how to draw or just arting in general due to a 2-year-long burnout as I began on April 7th of this year. Dang. Very organized. So you can tell I'm genuinely learning the very basics of how to actually see and figuring out how to actually study and effectively learn. Effectively learn on my own without being overwhelmed, scared, or procrastinating like crazy to get the practice down instead of all the information and barely any practice put in. Want some guidance on the more emotional side of drawing, what you do with dealing with nasty thoughts, discouraging you from doing more things, and a better mindset going forward. Hi, Kay! Kay Meister, everybody! DM of Cricket and of Corn, the creator of the 𝘥𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯 I was just talking about. Cricket's foil is the Slender Man! There should be a public whiteboard stream if things go as planned later on. No! Absolutely not. There's a reason I will never do anything with viewers. There's a reason why I will do nothing with, like, drawing related with viewers. Because that's a bad idea. You cannot trust viewers with a pen and have it on your stream and not expect yourself to get banned. like it is a bad idea. It's why I'm like, as much as I love playing 𝘥𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯, I will never play 𝘥𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯 with viewers. It's a bad idea. Bad idea. I'm like, I saw Gonzalo do it, and I was like, that's scary, man. You're sure that you're just leaving the link open? Like, you can so easily get streamers banned. Yeah, Gonzalo's so brave. I'm like, I would never do that in a million years. Yeah, shit show waiting to happen, truly. Do it to someone you hate, but the problem is by doing it to someone you hate, you open it up to the problem with, like, everybody. Like, even with, like, streamers that you love. Oh, I should have checked your username. Oh, now I closed the file. Hang on. You are Scarbs on Twitter and on YouTube. Chad_Scarbs, capital for both words. You would have to have complete and total trust with viewers, which I don't. Unfortunately, I'm not a trusting human. I'm not a trusting human in the general populace. Okay. So just opening up the file here, and then we can switch back. The only thing stopping television from staring, calling me television is crazy. I mean, I guess that's how my username. I never process that it's like people who haven't been here for that long or who are new call me by my username, which makes total sense. But I'm just like, most people know me from the other places, they just call me Jessie. But I'm just like, I'm like, so like, I'm like, who's television? Who's who's that? We're still in large cam mode? Yeah. Don't worry, I'm putting it back over. But yeah. Trusting you is your choice, betraying that trust is mine. Facebook Marketplace, yeah, fair. Telly. Some people call me Telly. I've heard Telly before. But alright, yeah. So they were saying they're currently at 2 months. You're learning the very basics of how to see and how to draw and study and effectively learn your own without being overwhelmed, scared, procrastinated. Still with information, some guidance on the more emotional side of drawing. So, especially because you are at the beginning, seeing those like circles and cylinders makes total sense. I would recommend, because what I'm seeing right now is it is a lot of like, clearly it is like you trying to move faster instead of with more precision. And a big thing with that is it's like speed. We talked about this earlier, actually. Speed is like, speed will come naturally. If you try to move fast without being correct, then you're just building bad habits, is all that it is, right? So what I would recommend is slow down, get nice and slow, and try and be much more like intentional with what it is that you illustrate, right? So like these, like I can see you adding in like the cylinders and like doing that, right? But it's like especially these forms down here, right? It's like your forms and your shapes. Have a good one. These like shapes are a little more inconsistent, right? They don't really feel quite like consistent forms, right? So slow down, nice and slow. It's like we could start with the shoulder piece here and make sure that both sides of our cylinder connect with the circle. Have the bottom of the cylinder here, top of the cylinder here. Make sure that every single shape and form that you draw flows into one another, right? And that'll take you slowing down, and that's okay. Because again, speed comes with skill. When you start to get used to drawing this stuff more and more, your accuracy builds up because the movements become memorized, right? Start off slow. Start off nice and slow. And build up that skill. You know? Like, really build up that, like, accuracy. Right? Because, again, like, you can feel the consistency in how I draw it, right? Right? And there's like that consistency with all of those forms by comparison to this, right? And it's like because you want that, what do you call it? You want that like consistency and you want that like smoothness of each form. And again, that comes with time and practice. And it is not something that will be immediate, but it will be something that you will grow into, right? Try not to start off fast, start off slow, so then you can be fast later, right? Exactly. In terms of the emotional side of drawing, like, artwork, genuinely, it's one of those things, it's tough. I think, like, the thing that I ended up learning to tell myself as I got older was, it was like, I'm not the best, I'm not the worst, and I'm always learning. It's like, I'm not the best, but I'm not the worst, and I'm always learning, right? Because that'll encourage you to, like, not get too big of an ego, but also understand that it is, like, you, are not the worst thing in the world either. But at the end, like, the biggest thing that you want to remember is that you want to enjoy learning, right? And it's, like, the best thing that you can do with artwork is it's like the best thing that you can do as an artist and when you are learning is to enjoy learning, right? And you are doing studies and you are doing like things that are like outside of your comfort zone and you are learning how to draw things, the best thing you can do is draw things that you enjoy, right? When I would do assignments with people, it was like when I would give assignments to people, what I would do is I would leave them very open-ended. And like I left it to where it was like, here's this restriction that makes it so it relates to the lesson that I just taught. However, you can draw realistically whatever the hell you want, just as long as it relates to that initial lesson. Because I always find it's like, for those of you who love to kind of, like, every artist, I feel, has like this thing that they love to draw over and over and over and over. Right? A lot of artists love to kind of just draw the same thing over and over and over and over, right? Because we have like hyperfixations or we have things that we enjoy, right? Have you ever noticed that, like, for those of you who love, like, drawing fan art and stuff like that or get into, like, fandoms really easily, have you ever noticed that when you get into a fandom and you start to want to draw them more, and you start to kind of draw that thing over and over and over and over, you notice that your work grows exponentially. Like crazy. It's like you suddenly start to get so much better at drawing when you are drawing that same thing over and over and over. And you know why? It's because it's repetition. It's not necessarily that you're like, oh, like, it's like Let me restart that sentence. It's like you are drawing things over and over. It's the repetition aspect of you just drawing more, but it is also the fact that you are doing something that you enjoy, so you want to do it more, right? The easiest way that you can make learning fun is to put it into a setting where it is fun for you, right? And whether that is drawing your favorite motherfucker from anime number 75, it's like, that's completely okay, right? Whatever you think like will help you is the important thing, but like like whatever you think you will enjoy is how you will learn faster. And like what you can do is you just like draw that thing in a way where you are still pushing yourself. Like what I would love to do when I was younger, like when I was practicing background, is I was put my favorite character in those backgrounds, right? And then it's like, oh, like I want to draw this thing, it's like I want to put my character in there. Or it's like if I'm designing a thing for a story, I'm like, I need this indoor area for a story. I really want to design, let's practice like perspective while I'm designing this interior, right? And it's like I'm doing something that I enjoy and I'm doing something that I want to do, but at the same time, I am also building skill in that way, right? So as long as you like draw stuff that you enjoy and like you allow yourself to learn at the same time, it helps. And yeah, anime number 75 mentioned, it is like repetition is so big for artists, because the worst thing you can do as an artist is just not draw. Right? Because it's like, if you stop drawing, then it's like you're not learning, you're not moving, you're not doing anything, right? Literally in my recent video I was talking about like how it's like the like when you want to get to like the mountain, like when you want to get to the peak, it's like steps are small, right? Steps that you take up to get to that mountain are small, but as long as you are taking those steps, you're still moving and you're still making progress to get to that peak. The worst thing that you can do is stand still, right? So it is much better to just do stuff, right? Even if it is just repeating the same thing over and over, that's fine, you know? It just is what it is. And frankly, it's like being like, oh, I'm not where I want to be, I'm not where I am yet, I don't really like. You're a beginner. You're not gonna be where you want to be ever. That's the secret too, is it's like you never stay stagnant at a certain point as an artist. There's no such thing as stagnation, because like, again, another thing I talked about in my most recent video, like when you're staring up at the mountain, this is the peak of art. When you're staring up at the mountain, it looks like a peak because you're below. When you actually get to that space, when you get there, it's a plateau. It's not a tippy top, it's not a point, it's a plateau, it's a flat plane. Once you get on there, you're there with a bunch of other artists, and you still never stop moving. You might not continue upwards in terms of technical skill, because there is a cap with technical skill, and that's like when you learn realism and when you learn like your anatomy and you learn like all of that scientific stuff, there's a cap. Like there is like a stopping point, because it's like at a certain point there is no more technical skill to learn. At that point, it's stuff that nobody can teach you anymore, right? It's like, oh, like what stylization do I like? What like visual interest do I like? What that kind of thing. And it's like, you will change. What you want to become and what you want to do will change. So it's like that peak, that perfection that you want is false. It's not real. It doesn't exist. Like what I wanted to be when I was 19 is so different to what I want to be now at 25, right? And like how I do my artwork now, and like the workflow that I have right now is so different from back then, right? I'm like, I worked very geometric when I was younger, and I'm like, now I find I'm much more fluid with like that like chisel pen. I'm like, I do a lot more black work by comparison to when I was younger, and I was like full multiply layer, right? Some things don't change, some things kind of stay the same, like maybe subject matters or themes that you want, like maybe those things stay the same, but even then sometimes those change too, right? And it's like, what do you want to be now? I'm letting it kind of take me. I'm letting the winds take me essentially right now, but it's different, right? You will be different, and that's the only thing that's guaranteed, you know? And just keep at it. Perfectionism is poison, and the peak is a lie. Just have fun. Do what you can. But alright, thank you so much, Scarbs, for submitting. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting us take a look at your work, and I appreciate you submitting your work and showing us who you are. Evil Telly Arclot? No, this is just how I am. This next person who submits is Cloudy. They do not have social media either. See, here's the thing, right? You tell me, like, oh, you don't have to worry about this thing that I'm pointing out. I'm like, well, now I want to talk about it. We're not, like, no. You don't get to tell me. It's like, yeah, I know this thing is here, but I'm just, don't worry about that. Don't tell me. You can't tell me that. So now I'm gonna point it out. At home, my ad blocker now. Nice. How do you feel about rough and grungy art styles like 𝘥𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘯 and 𝘴𝘶𝘪𝘃? I love how 𝘥𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘃 looks. I've never watched it. I really want to. I know my fiance wants to as well. 𝘥𝘪𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘃, I love that style. I also like how 𝘴𝘪𝘃 looks. I think they both have really interesting, beautiful looks. Another one, like, if we're thinking like grungier kind of like art styles, I also really love see, I don't actually like the anime itself, but 𝘴𝘶𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘃 has a really good style as well. I love how that one looks as well. You just 𝘴𝘪𝘃 a lot during high school. I never watched it. I never got into 𝘴𝘪𝘃. 𝘴𝘶𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘃 has a really good style. Devilman Crybaby has a really good style. Like, if we're talking gritty kind of anime styles. I wouldn't call Fire Force gritty. Fire Force is not gritty to me. It's rounded. Fire Force feels like... How do I describe Fire Force? The adjective that came to my mind was pudgy. But like, what else I would describe like Fire Force is like a pudgy kind of style. I would use that also for like Full Metal Alchemist. Pudgy. I'm like, I don't know how else to describe it. But pudgy. Yeah, pudgy. I don't know how else to describe it. It's not a bad style. First of all, I love Full Metal. I'm like, I haven't watched Fire Force, but I don't hate the style. But it feels pudgy. Not full. Pudgy. That's the word that I would use. Pudgy. You know? Yeah, 𝘴𝘶𝘴𝘰𝘪𝘃. My fiance wanted me to watch 𝘴𝘶𝘴𝘰, and I was like, I was so down, because I had seen 𝘴𝘶𝘴𝘰 around for my entire life, and I loved the art style. I was like, I want to watch this so bad. We watched the first episode, and I didn't like it. I was like, I don't really want to continue. And he was like, really? I'm like, no, I wish I liked it, but it makes me uncomfortable. I don't know why. And he's like, that's fine. But yeah, I don't know. There's something about 𝘴𝘶𝘴𝘰 I didn't like. But yeah. It was the same thing with Devilman Crybaby, actually. I've watched the original Devilman, and I've watched the OVA, but when it came to Crybaby, something about me made me very viscerally uncomfortable, and I couldn't finish it. Which is very strange. That does not happen to me often. I want to try it again one day. But for some reason, because again, it was another one where I was like, I'm down to watch this, let's watch it. And I watched like a couple episodes, and I was like, something feels off and I don't like it. And I was like, it just gave me like weird heebie-jeebies that I couldn't do. And I was like, I don't know, it's something about it. But yeah, grungy. I'm like, what else? What other styles would I say is grungy? There's a manga. There's a manga. It's called Bibliomania. That's a grungy style. Bibliomania has a grungy style. It's a good one though. You can only read it online. There's no physical copies. It's a good manga though. It's a short read, maybe an hour. Next, our stream should be you confronting your brain goblins. It's kind of the point with those two. No, for sure. It's absolutely the point. For some reason, I couldn't get over it. I'll try them again maybe one day, but... You know what another style that I would describe as pudgy? Seven Deadly Sins. Which that one I couldn't get past the first episode because I hated everybody that showed up on screen. And I hated that show. But pudgy. You know what I mean? Like with Seven Deadly Sins, like pudgy. That style felt pudgy. You know? Pudgy. I agree about Seven Deadly Sins. Dude, Seven Deadly Sins, what a mess. I only watched one episode and I was like, we're good. It is just, I despise fan service a lot of the time. Fan service is only good if it's actually funny. And most of the time it's not. Like when you have like the sexual like fan service, when it is like, when it takes itself too seriously, it's not funny. And it's not good. Or it's like, if it is like weirdly like when it's gross, it's not fun. Like it's only good when it's funny. The fan service in what do you call it? In like Dungeon Meshi. Delicious in Dungeon? That's funny. So I'm okay with it. You know, it's like they treated it as like actually like kind of funny, right? And it's also for both genders, so I'm also okay with it there. But it was like with Seven Deadly Sins, it was just gross, and I was just like, I just don't want to hear you. I don't want you here. You know, I'm just like, get out of my face. I don't want to talk to you. We're not talking about the 7 deadly offenders. LOL. It's so funny. I think pudgy would be lighthearted but dark at the same time. No. I'm not talking about like the actual like the anime itself. It's just something about the style. Like the art style, it feels pudgy. You know, it's pudgy. Like I could squish it, like pudgy. You know? I do not like 7 Deadly Sins, and what's crazy is I watched the entirety of it when I was very young because my sister, once I grew up, I realized how bad it was. That happens with a lot of people, with a lot of anime, I find. One of my animes that I was really obsessed with as a child was Black Butler, and I should not have watched that at 13. Because as an adult now, I'm just like, fuck was that about? Like, what was that about? Hate that. Horrible. You know? Like, oh dear. You know? I do kind of want to watch, I want to watch Free Iwatobi Swim Club again, though. Just to, like, because, like, that anime was gay as hell. And I really want to see, like, just how gay it was again. You know what I mean? As a lot of sports animes are, you know? Dungeon Meshi inherently respects its characters like people, so even when it's not funny, the fan service isn't a bad thing. Real and true, 1000%. I get that. I should not have watched 7 Deadly Sins. It's so gross, dude. It's so gross. I haven't seen Black Butler, but my mom really likes it. Real. My dad says that about Violet Evergarden. It's like one of his favorite anime, and he's like, you need to watch it. I'm like, maybe I'll watch it one day. He's like, I cried! But the extra of anime sport is just a vibe. No, truly. It's funny. And you know what Free Iwatobi Swim Club brought us? It brought us 50% off, which is the greatest abridged of all time. I barely remember it. It may have aged so poorly. I need to watch it again. Just to see how, how poorly it aged, if it did age really poorly. But we'll see. Let's get back into this, though. Let's see what we got with this one. Okay. Yeah, you can't just be like, I know the anatomy's wrong, don't worry about it, we're getting to that another time. You can't tell me that. You know why? Because I'm just gonna get into it. It's gonna be my focus. It's what I want to focus on now. Because, yeah, you're right. Here's the thing, right? The pose itself is not the worst, right? In terms of, like, how you have done this. Like, the pose is, like... The pose is not what I'm worried about the most. It's mostly the face. Because I find, like, your pose is not that bad. Like, in terms of, like, this. Like, you've got, like, you're missing a bit of structure is the thing. So it's like the curve here. This is actually interesting. It's an interesting like version where it's like I actually think you curved it. Like this curve is fine, but you're missing some structure here because you are missing like you're missing the structure of the thigh here. We kind of like that, right? Because the thigh does curve forward more, calf curves back. Right, so you're missing a little bit of structure is the thing. Right? Like that's all that you're missing really. In terms of this, you're missing a bit of your rib cage here as well. But the thing that I am like mostly concerned about, like in terms of like an anatomy is your face, right? To which like the facial thing here, your hair is very, very vacuum sealed to the head. And remember that when we have hair, hair has volume, right? Hair has volume and it has mass, and we want to make sure that our hair is not quite so vacuum sealed to the head, right? So if we are drawing the hair, I'm gonna give it a little bit of room. All right, let's give the hair a little bit of room. And like when we do that, I want to make sure that it gives it a little bit of life. Right? Another thing here, you are in fact drawing from a 3/4 angle, right? And a 3/4 angle means that, like when we have our facial structure right here, let's do this on another layer. When we have our face right here, woo, bless me. You have our face here. We have our crosshair, right? When we draw in the crosshair again, this kind of tells us where everything needs to go. Because we are at an angle as well. Curse you, thank you. Thank you. When we have this face at an angle, it means that everything is going to, like if I turn my face here, all the structure of my face is different than when we are looking directly face on, right? Let me take off my glasses so you can see my eyes better, right? When I'm facing head on, the shape of my eyes changes when I'm at an angle. Check that out. But the thing you will notice is that the width or the height of my eyes does not change. The width does though, right? The actual width of my eye changes because of the foreshortening. And the exact same thing with my mouth here, right? From the front, it's like we have this. From the side, it appears thinner because we are looking at it from the side, right? In our vertical sort of like part of the face alters as we move as well, right? So the mouth should not be quite like that. Neither should the eyes. We need to thin out our eyes, we need to thin out that mouth and move it closer to the side. So we have our mouth, it should be closer like this. Because it is foreshortened, we have one side more thin than the other. Our eye should be back here, should be squished a little bit more. One eye is closed, so we can have it like this, almost. And then our nose will be covering part of the eye here. Right? You feel that difference? Right? So, that's important in that case, right? But you've got the arms pretty much correct. Like, the elbow should be just above the head, right? It's like I might make the arms just a little bit longer, but not by much. Like, that's fine, right? In terms of lighting, I'm actually a little confused about the lighting in the background. Like, should you curve the center line for the eyes or have it straight? I saw a video where they have it straight so the features are more parallel. You should curve it. Because if you have them perfectly straight, like, especially if you have, like, an angle where the head is, like, facing upwards, like this. Like, and you have, like, if you have, like, one of these kind of angles, right? If you keep a line straight like this, it's gonna look really awkward, right? You gotta curve it. So then you have, like, the curve of the head itself in there, too. Right, so you can have, like, one eye here. And the other eye's gonna be covered up anyway by the nose. But you should curve it. right? Because like the face is curved. It's not a straight thing, you know? It's a curved one. I had a short that would have been viral. When? Which one was this? I don't remember this. Kevin, when was this? I forget everything. We are not a cube. Here's my problem with the cube method for drawing a head, right? It does not give you the structure for the face. I dislike it when people draw cubes for the head without knowing how the structure of the face works, because the cube for the head is great for perspective. It's bad if you don't know how to do the face properly. That's my hot take. So long ago. She learned she's famous. At the other place, we had a couple, we had like a video or two of mine that reached over 1 million views, but it was like, that was forever ago. That's also ancient work. I kind of want to redo those videos. I don't like the cube method. Pisses me off. Pisses me off, pisses me off. Okay. Is a cube method? Yeah, there's a cube method for the face. But yeah, I'm a little confused about the background. I don't really know what's happening. So, it's like, I'm not too sure how to fix this one. Because I'm like, I don't know. It's like, if this is like a wall, then it's like, if we have like a wall of stone, but if this is like clouds, like if it's like sky, then it's like, this isn't too different than like putting them in like a void, essentially. But it is like, especially when you have such a sharp change between like ground and sky, like horizon and the ground, especially if it's just like pure plains, it's like a little bit like nothing. I don't think the artist is in chat, no. I'm just like, yeah, I was thinking maybe clouds. Like, I was thinking clouds, and if it is clouds, then all of this lighting is wrong. Because if you have... Let me give you a little lighting lesson. One of the toughest lightings that you can do, ever, one of the toughest lightings that you can possibly give yourself is a cloudy day. A very cloudy day, alright? The reason why cloudy days are some of the toughest lighting that you can do is it does something called diffuse lighting. And diffuse lighting means that there is really no clear light source. It will not give you really, really sharp shadows. When you walk outside on a really, really cloudy day, it's like kind of gloomy, right? It's like that space between rainy and like not like no rain, like it's not raining, but like the sun is completely blocked out, right? And it's just kind of like gray outside, right? That lighting is very, very difficult because there is no concentrated light source. Your light is kind of just everywhere. And what happens is you do not really get shadows, and you do not really get really harsh lighting. So you kind of have like this weird limbo where it is difficult to light the entire subject because your shadows are not very pronounced, right? So that kind of like shading is really difficult. And if these are clouds, then that immediately makes this entire shading wrong. Because what's happening is like you'll want to like lighten all of this. Like you'll want to like lighten it but also darken some areas. It's like, how do I fix this? So, like, if we do this one, if we kind of, like the best advice I can maybe give you is if it's, like, what we can probably do, because lightening it is probably a little more complicated than just darkening it. Because, like, because you will kind of just want to, like, everything should be just a little less, like, pronounced, realistically. Like, the contrast needs to be lower, is the thing. The contrast between everything needs to be lower. Like, it all sort of needs to, like... It is easier to lighten it. Like if I was to... Sorry, this is tricky. Because the problem is, it's like... You also have to desaturate everything too by like 30%. You know? It's tricky. It's tricky. Why are we punishing Kevin? What do you do? Yeah, because there wouldn't really be the clearest subject matter in terms of like lighting. Sorry, don't mind me as I'm like, when you would like desaturate it all. Like, you would sort of have something like this. Like, it's... Like, versus, like... this? Like, you would have something like this. Because, like, these kind of, like, cloudy, like, gloomy gray days... Yeah, it's more local color, local value. It's, like, they definitely shouldn't be that bright, though. Like, the way that they had it like this, like, that's way too bright. Like, it should be, like, maybe, like, here-ish, actually. But, like, it, like, definitely shouldn't be this bright. Like, it needs to be a little bit more desaturated just because of, like, what the clouds are doing. You know? Yeah, there is a signature. Rainbecca. They told me their name was Cloudy. But, yeah, it's, like, this kind of, like, cloudy, kind of, like... this overall, like, gloomy sort of, like, look like you need to, like, desaturate like crazy. Yes, I thought so. Like, this is the system. In terms of line art, though, it's just, like, your line art is, like, very one note. So it's, like, I would give it a little more energy in life, right? Again, dark... where the dust collects. It's like, thicken it up where the dust collects, right? You know what I mean? And also when you are doing, like, folds, try not to just do these, like, two little, like, things every single time, because realistically, clothes don't always fold like that. You're gonna have a large variety of forms, so it's like, if you have, like, this bend here, it's like, you will have some of it moving like this. You have to think of where the fabric pulls and pushes from. So it's like, this one, the tension point will be on the shoulder, so it'll more like... And give the folds more variety in terms of like their shape, right? They won't be that tiny. Right? It's like give them a little bit more visual interest there too. Don't be afraid to draw loops. Right? It's like not just single things, you know? Yeah. You need to give folds some variety. You need to draw less folds, Paula. You got a few less folds in there. Alright. But alright, everybody say thank you to Cloudy for submitting. Thank you for giving us some work to take a look at and critique. Less folds? Yes! I remember the last piece that I took a look at when you showed me that comic. I was like, oh my god, there's so many folds. Thank you, Cloudy. Everybody claps for Cloudy. Thank you for submitting. This next one is Clueless Creator. He goes by Clueless Creator 81 on Instagram. Capitals for both C's. This one is probably going to be our last one for the night, just as a heads up. Because we are getting... Because there's going to be people at my house. Is pretty good though. 12 is in fact pretty damn good. We got to about half of the submissions. Yeah, almost half with everything. Will there be part 2? Do you guys want a part 2? If I'm doing a part 2, it's gonna be face camless. Like, the next one is not gonna have my camera on. But I can do a part 2 if you guys want me to do this again. Like, soon so I can get through the list. I can do that. Yes, we want that. But again, part 2 will have no camera. Because I don't want to do this again. Not anytime soon, anyway. Yeah, we want part 2? Okay, we can do that. So we can have the rest of them done next week if you guys would like. But then, like... again, like, no camera for that day. But yes. So we have one more this time around. Again, this one is by Clueless Creator. more parts than anime number 75. Yeah, canvas special occasions only. Y'all want it. Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, D. Yes, another traditional one. Okay, so this person, he said he's working on a comic or manga type thing project. This is character reveal page. Can't help feel like there's quite a few things off with the whole thing. I can't quite put my finger on it. Sorry, I know this is vague. Thank you for your time. First thing off, good job that you did it as a full body. When you have a character reveal, it's either going to be a half body or a full body, and you want them to be big. You want them big on that sheet, because when you have like a character reveal, you want them large and in charge and right there, right? I hate it when I see artists and they go like, oh, it's like, this is my character reveal, and it's this teeny tiny little panel, and I'm like, how are you supposed to be revealing this thing to me if I can't even see them? You know what I mean? It's just teeny tiny, and I'm like, just like, I don't, right? So, good job. You have it on as a nice, big panel up here, right? Now, the thing when you have character reveals is you want that panel big and you want it interesting. So when you have like a nice big sort of like character reveal page panel, you want like the background to enhance this character, right? And a big thing that I'm noticing right now is, especially because these values are all very similar, it's kind of taken away from the main guy. So it looks like you worked with graphite, so the easiest thing you can do is just take an eraser to it, right? And make the values a little bit lighter. But I can show you what that'll look like really quickly. Like if you just took like an eraser to it, it won't erase your pen quite as much, but it might erase it a little bit. Like you might kind of get it in there if you're lucky. Because sometimes pen can be erased a little bit. Like again, if you're lucky and like you're heavy-handed enough, you might be able to get rid of some of this pen work as well, and like lighten that up too. But check that out, right? And what this is doing now is now our focus is back on this guy, our main guy here, right? And we can see him a little bit better, right? So we've got him large and in charge, and now we have like this sort of background piece. Like, check that difference. Right? And it is like he's more like up front in your face. Another thing that you can also do that will also help him feel more highlighted is if you take your lines here really quickly, thicken up the silhouette, and like when you have like difference in line weighting, it helps viewers, like especially with comics, it helps viewers like take in what should be like what you look at first. And comics rely so heavily on line work because of how much smaller the area is, right? So it's like by thickening up this silhouette overall, it's the first thing that we're gonna read. So you want this to be nice and large as well, nice and thick. Right, already, like, it's like I've only gotten one side, but it's like it pops a little bit more. Right? I don't want to do the entire thing. Just enough that I need to. And it's a little bit late because, like, you've already lined it and everything. Unless he was, like, unless he's, like, really looking at something off to the side, which then I would have made the head angle, like, pointed in that direction as well if they're, like, looking somewhere else. I would have had them looking straight forward. As well. Which, frankly, like, a straightforward look is a little tough, I will admit. Like, somebody looking at you directly head on can be a little tricky to get right. Which is why it's like when you are doing it traditionally, get that sketch and make sure that it's right. Especially with the face. The face can be kind of tricky, but yeah, like looking head on will also demand more attention to the face. But yeah, you see that difference immediately. Right? It's like he demands more attention this way, right? And you are looking directly on there. What if this is based on Outer Wilds? No Outer Wilds spoilers! I didn't finish it! I didn't finish it! I didn't finish it! I didn't finish it! Don't tell me! I didn't finish it! Right. But it's like this helps him demand more attention in this way. And this also with this entire area, again, it's like there's just not a lot happening. And like obviously we want like the character not to be overtaken, but we can still add some like, oh, I just realized there is the problem with the page warping going on here, which if you decide to do any sort of print or like scan this in, make sure that you get that fixed, because we don't want to have weird scans for our comic pages. Like again, even though like there's not a lot happening and we don't want to like overtake our main guy here, what you might want to do is like just give the like ground a little more texture, and an easy way that you can do that is just like without lines. You can just use like the side of your pencil. You can just give the ground like a little bit of like texture here and there. I'm using my pencil tool so I can keep the material as similar as I can. Alright, just give the ground a little more texture, because it's like when we have character reveals, we want to make sure that like we still have a background that is there to support our big main guy. Right? And then it's like he can also give him a shadow, and it's like by giving him a shadow he also feels more part of the scene. Right, so you can give him that there, right? And then like this kind of looks like a cliff face because of like how there's like those guys kind of up there, so it's like maybe then you can like draw in some like cliff rocks and stuff like that. That's sort of how I'm interpreting it anyway. And it's like, frankly, this kind of like cliff thing is a really great, what do you call it? Framing device. Because it's like, it's really good use of leading lines, because it's like they're coming down onto the ship. Right, so it's a nice sort of way to sort of frame the character and let your eyes come down onto him here. Right? But you see, it's like that fills in the space a little bit more because it feels very empty right now, right? the thing with comics is it's like, especially if you're gonna keep it black and white, it means you gotta draw more, right? It's like when you have like, what do you call it? When you have like your black and white like comics and manga and stuff like that, like you have to, like, you can't like color do a lot of the talking because you have removed an entire section of like the you've removed an entire part of the art, like elements, like the elements of art, so you have one less way to show contrast. So that means that you need to, so that means the other parts of the elements of art need to put in more effort. So that includes your line work and your values, right? So you need to use like your values as much as you can in order to show off like everything else within your scene. But yes. All right. Good luck, though. Make sure you're planning out your panels and make sure that you are really focusing on your facial expressions and make sure that you are very nitpicky when it comes to your facial expressions, because this is drawn storytelling. So if your facial expression is wrong, it's wrong and you will not be able to get it back, especially working traditionally. So good luck. But everybody say thank you to Clueless. Thank you to Clueless Creator for submitting. Thank you for submitting and good luck with your comic. Everybody say claps. Give claps to Clueless Creator. Thank you for telling me I need less fold. Yeah, no problem. But yes, everybody say thank you to Clueless. Thank you. And thank you all for joining me today. That was in fact the last one that we were going to have for today. Because I've got people coming to my house, so I want to end stream before they show up, which they should be showing up in the next like 10 minutes. So, yes. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope you had fun. I hope you learned things. I hope you liked seeing my face, I guess. I hope you liked seeing my face in my room and my, my love for plushies and my, and I hope that this was, informative in some way. Again, if you had submitted, if you were one of the artists, thank you for submitting. And if you would like the working files, any of them from, if you would like yours, not any of them, if you would like yours, your working file, join the Discord, open a ticket, ask the mods, they will get you in touch with me, and I will gladly give you your working file, for you to, have. You can go through the layers and you can go through and see the changes that I made. But yes, thank you all so much for joining me today. Yeah. Trying to remember what are the dates next week. So we should still have stream on the 15th, should still have stream on the 18th. I'll schedule the next crit stream for the 18th. Again, no cam for that one, but I will finish up the list that day. Yes, I will finish up the next crit stream on the 18th, so then we can have that stream that day. And yeah. Thank you all so much for joining me today. And I will see you this coming Wednesday. Au revoir. Bye-bye.